This Hola. How are you guys doing? My camera tilt down a bit. Yeah, I did. Hello, 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 hello. 10 minutes intro. Yeah, it is a 10-minute intro. And you know what? You're waiting for it, bitch. What's up, Stallone? Dude, it takes longer to get a stream ready than I think most people realize. Like, a lot longer. Like, just for me having OBS and everything set up exactly how I want it, like, that takes, 2, 3, 4 minutes before I even start the stream. So, I have access to the patch notes already. Yeah. I may or may not have read them already.
Officially 2 years, sub my lurking days seem so long ago.
Yeah, I've had them for a bit. Do I do coaching? I do. Exclamation mark coaching. You throw me an email. Coaching starting price is 100. There's 4 tiers. It's really not a tier. It's more of a preference as to what kind of coaching you want. Do we like the spice? I mean, they're leaving out a lot for us to go like see in game, I think, but they're like going over the general consensus and ideas of a lot of shit, and it's the right direction. I mean, the first thing I looked for was numbers being changed, and they are changing them, the visuals, so I'm excited. Oh. Oops. Is that new duality? Okay, so look at this. So last night I was about to go to bed. I was just about to turn my computer off, and I don't know why. This video, it'll either go live today or tomorrow. It depends on patch notes. So here's a screen grab from the video. This is duality. This is the Heartseeker proc from 1 plus duality. Do exclamation mark coaching. Here, I'll do it for you. I got you. There you go. That's the coaching info. The emails, weekendcoaching@gmail.com. It's right there. But yeah, like the damage potential is a little ridiculous. Like duality and everything are hitting really, really hard. Really, this is a no fire giant, no red buff. Let me find. I'll show you another one. I don't want to spoil the whole video, but I'll show you another. I think I got a kill at the end. I've been a little bit. So yeah, that's 1 auto attack. Well, that was 2 autos, but like this is from 1 auto attack. That's just an extra 400 damage on top of Merc's crits. Like that. Oh, it's not even showing the 600 crit, right? I hit for 1300. So this is saying 2 autos. This is actually 1 auto because it's not showing the 600. I think I hit somebody for like 1600 with 1 crit, and then you got 300 duality, and then you have 100 Heartseeker. So you could do like that's without fire, that's without red buff. With fire and red buff, I think you can hit close to 3k damage with 1 auto. Between a crit, your 1 does not proc duality, but your 1 procs Heartseeker, and then your Duality procs Heartseeker. So without using your 3 or your ult, you get 2 Heartseeker procs. So you get like a 200 damage bonus. And then Duality is hitting for... I don't understand this either. Isn't Duality supposed to be 25% of your power? Because that is not 25% of power. And this is like happening the whole game. So I don't know what's going on with Duality. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, you can watch it. We'll watch that kill back. Like, that's also what I don't understand. So that's 319, right? And that's 680. I can't see the fucking numbers, which is shitty. Maybe I have another here. I don't want to spoil the whole video, but I have another kill here that maybe it'll be easier to see. I'm gonna spoil some of this video. You guys shouldn't have to watch this. It's fucking hilarious. Watch this. If he's not near a tank, am I on a ward? I kind of feel like I'm on a ward. This shit is too funny. Watch this. I'm like, all right. Like, how do they not? How do they not fucking know that I'm right behind them? This is a really close game too. For all right, here's we can watch the damage here. I almost fucked this up, kind of. See, you can't see the fucking numbers that overlap. They go away so fast too. Whole team says Z. I T-screen here, right? Oh, I don't T-screen because this fucking Vulcan chased me like a little bitch. Never mind. So yeah, Duality's hitting really hard on Mercury with that build. It's like my one-shot build. See, there's 2 issues I have with the build. I don't know that Heartseeker is actually worth it. And Bumba's hammer or dagger start on Mercury is dog shit. Like, it is dog shit. You don't clear, you don't sustain. It is ass. It is complete shit. So I don't know what I'll do. I think I might go serrated in the builds and Duality last. And then and then change the starter to like an eye, but then I mean then you're still good on pen. You have 30%. You have 30% pens. Like, you're all right on pen. I don't know. Duality is supposed to add 25% power to the next basic of that. Yeah, it's doing something else. I don't know what it's doing because it hit for 300 on them. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how it's calculating in the auto, like that auto. You know, wait. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Let me read the item real quick. So I don't have in-game sound. Give me my in-game sound back, bitch. There we go. All right, so Duality is once every 3 seconds. Your next basic attack will deal an additional 25% of your basic attack power. Oh. So it's not physical power. It's your in-hand damage. So I was wrong about Duality, which makes it better on Mercury than anyone else in the game. Because if you get 3k pot, or sorry, you get Fire Giant, 3k pot, and red buff, I was hitting 1,000 in-hand damage. in practice. Is it taking the crit? Is that what it's doing? It is. You're right. It's gotta be. Hold on. Here, I mean, well, look at this. It has to be. So I'm at 700 almost in hand, right? Yeah, almost 700 when I auto him. And it does 300. So it's 25% of 13, 19. Fucking. Hold on. 13, 19 times 0.3. Yeah, that's what it's doing. That's actually what it's doing. So it's 25% of whatever damage you do with your next auto attack. Shmeep. Duality. Look at this. This is from YouTube video to Video Live. Duality is doing 25% of this auto attack as bonus damage. So my Mercury crits like get up to 2k. So that means this can get up to like 700. Well, I guess more like 500, 600.
Less than 3.
I didn't realize it was of the in-hand hit. I thought it was the in-hand damage. Yeah, that's crazy. I ran this last night for a YouTube video and I was like, my duality is slamming them. Shit. Crit might be back because that could also mean more burst for like crit hunters, like the Jingwei one-shot build. That's actually kind of scary for like a Jingwei one-shot build. Not gonna lie. All right, let's pull up the patch notes. They should be going live soon. Yeah, when I saw the number last night, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't seem right. It's right. Yeah, I'm about to be Nem crit, maybe. I'm about to have some fun with builds, I'll tell you that. I think Mercury gets the biggest in-hand crit though, right? Actually, that's a lie. Naja does if you can blink auto on the third auto. On the overhand swing. Wait, what happened, Tally? Is there any keywords you like for the patch notes thumbnail? I don't know. Do like, fuck. I just do first Smite 2 patch, I guess. First big Smite 2 patch.
Can't wait for
Duality
Smite
proc
2
off
to
her
release.
passive and boost her abilities too. Talking about Jingwei. I'm pretty sure Dualities does 25% bonus damage of whatever that auto hits for. So if that auto hits really, really hard, then yeah. Smite 2's tomorrow. Which is crazy because it doesn't say, it says 25% of your 20 or 25% of your basic attack power, but it's not doing your basic attack power. It's doing the in-hand scaling of the basic attack power and the item scaling, which is fucking wild. He was getting 600 duality on who? Who are you running? Who are you playing, Mike? What god? Oh, fuck. And Titan's Bane. No, that's never going to be on a tank. You're never going to hit a tank for that much. Because tanks are going to be fucking mitigating all your damage. The thing is, Death's Temper is gimmicky. Like, you're never going to have full stacks of Death's Temper running around a team fight. That's why I'm not sure I like that item. I feel like sometimes you get some value out of it, but you're never getting full value. What up, Corvette? Thank you for the 39. Dude, I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose like 1,500 subs to 2,000 subs over the next 2 days. So I'm about to come up with some crazy stream stuff for this weekend. Crit rat, pretty bad. Not consistent enough, put you out of position. Farm shitters. All it takes is 1 assist. Yeah, where are you keeping 10 stacks of assists every 10 seconds while looking for a late game fight? I feel like it's just not happening. Like when you're waiting for fire and stuff, you're just never gonna have the stacks. Saint Rider, baby. What up, Saint? Well, patch notes to comment, boys. Also, there's supposed to be some competitive announcement. So I'm gonna figure out my team over the next 2 days. Who I'm gonna play with. Because I'm the more I think about it, the more I want to get pretty serious with the competitive Smite. Hello, Kyle. Yeah, but you're not gonna have an enemy god kill when it's 5v5 and you're waiting for a firefight. You're not listening. How often are you gonna have full stacks of that going into a true team fight? Almost never. You have to like think about it and plan it, which you can, but it's not gonna be consistent. All right, here we go, dude. What is this? I have a feeling that's copyrighted. I just feel like Hi-Rez would do that to us and make it copyrighted. Pre-order the Founders Edition. Nexus.gg/weekend. We've already pre-ordered like 500 of them, so why not you go do it too?
Open the gate.
29 months ready for Smite 2 notes.
No. I call it JK. I know.
Murder and seduction.
No, this isn't Hi-Rez music. I don't think they're like partnered with so many different people. Dude, it's still not over. Dude, I saw a TikTok of someone trying to say why Predecessor's better than Smite 2.
Stream for our second Smite 2 Alpha
Let's
weekend.
go!
It's going to be kicking off tomorrow, May 30th. My name's Isaiah. I'm going to be
drop it early?
walking everybody through what you all can expect when servers go live tomorrow. And I'm joined by AJ from the design
aggro.
team.
I thought,
But it's not
aggro's still
just
there.
us. We got the rest of the design crew from Smite 2 joining us as well. Clumsy, Aggro, and Pon. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
We're doing great. All three of us over here. Pon included.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'm super excited to go over Smite 2, what people can expect tomorrow. I know you all have been cooking a lot of stuff. We got a lot of great feedback from Alpha Weekend 1, but speaking of Alpha Weekend 1, we did it. Like, how's everybody feeling, right?
Yeah. It was awesome. It was really exciting to be able to like turn on Twitch and watch people play Smite 2 and not be like, what is happening? You know, it was a little odd in that way, but the feedback we got was excellent, and you know the reception was really, really positive, and we were happy to see that people were excited, just as excited as we are for this future of Smite 2.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for your participation and for your feedback. We got so many specific, the most specific notes. That's what we love.
Yep.
That's what we're always like. Oh, this bug report is so specific. I love it. Like that is like what we get excited about when we get that feedback in. So thank you so much for
what an animal
who took that time and effort just to play or to take that extra effort to write things down and send it to us, because it was super helpful.
Appreciate all the feedback. I heard we got close to like 1,000 bug reports come in through our bug report form. So definitely appreciate everybody playing. But for those that went the extra mile, got involved, filled out that survey, got involved on Discord, filled out that bug report form, just to give us all the info on how everybody's feeling about Smite 2, definitely much appreciated.
Any bets on over under more
oh my gosh.
bug reports or less bug reports for Alpha Weekend 2? Anyone? I think we might get more this time.
Oh yeah,
in a good, you know, alpha way,
right?
Yeah, in a good way.
Well, there's more stuff, right? So there's more opportunities for
That's true.
to play around with.
So true.
Yeah, we got a lot cooking. We got a lot that we learned from the Alpha Weekend, not just, you know, technically. We, you know, shout out to our technical team and the rally here and everybody for the servers stayed up in pretty good shape.
I think I played every single day, and
in.
I personally didn't even have any issues. I was playing several hours each day.
And the community was like, yo, if stuff's on fire and you can't get in, like, be understanding about it. We really appreciate that. But then
awesome.
even better that, you know, even with a very big turnout things stayed smooth.
Yep.
Getting into the game design, we learned a lot. We got a lot of feedback about Conquest, some pacing issues, some timing.
I hope they don't repeat everything from last time, but looks like they're about to
the game
be
some
very
games
slow with
running,
this one.
into the 40s and 50s minutes.
That's because people just didn't want to leave. You know?
Yeah, they were having so much fun.
Cherishing every moment. Yes. Well, we're gonna be looking to make some adjustments
They're
today on
quiet for
that.
you guys?
Item store, lots of feedback about the general system.
Really?
So that's items, god design, things that were missing, some clearly overpowered items, and a couple. We'll be talking about those more today too, and finally, just like some extra, clarity systems and supporting systems. A lot of feedback on our new damage number systems, new accolade systems and UI across the map. So we have some exciting changes to all of those to describe today. And even though we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, it's like we're already moving. Like today, we're here to talk about Alpha 2, as we're calling it, but we already have a lot of stuff for Alpha 3 and beyond in progress and moving. There was a conversation I had with the ambassadors recently that were just surprised to hear like how much overlapping content we have all being developed all at once. So like, even though this big wave is ready to release, there's already more improvements to some of these things we're going to talk about.
Let's hear some of these changes.
And so, tune into each one of these shows and just get ready to hear about some cool stuff.
And make sure to like keep in check with the Discord and stuff like that. We have flash tests that are going on.
Yeah,
too,
that's
right?
true.
So you might get surprised and be able to play the game even faster.
There was a Reddit post about someone who like thought they'd kind of snuck in.
I saw
like,
that.
cheated the test. But no, that's kind of the feeling, the intent that we're going for too.
And they've
So
been
it's
super helpful as well.
Yeah,
so.
We've been learning a lot from every one of those tests.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, AJ, you did a great summary at some of the quick hits that we wanted to cover today, but let's go ahead and dive into, some of the stuff that we took from Alpha Weekend 1, a lot of that feedback that came in, and let's talk about some of the bug fixes and some of the new features, not quite quality of life stuff, but just some of the things that we saw the community give us the most feedback on and how we're addressing them in Alpha Weekend 2. So first up with the bug fixes, we got a few that we wanted to call out just because the community's been talking about it.
Well, this is just fun because, we normally wouldn't do bug fixes as the first highlight of a Smite 1 show. I guess we used to back in the day a little bit more.
Depends on the bug.
We used to focus on a couple of like
Sometimes, but it's like
I'm sitting here really.
for the alpha process, we want people to know that we're tackling the high priority bugs that they're reporting, and also like to know that this is not an extensive list. It's going to be a bit of a theme today.
I feel like they
This is
shouldn't
not
even
an
cover these
extensive list of
bugs. This
everything
should just
that
be
changed.
expected.
We're just going to walk through a lot of the key moments. So
Patch notes should be live on the site for all the details if you want to follow along with us, but yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
So let's see what we got here. Fixed auto buy, not stop if you buy or sell potions.
This was a big one.
Big one.
For sure.
Right. So there's also, I think, some other improvements to auto buy, like a visual warning that'll tell you if you exited it. Or maybe that's an Alpha 3. I don't know. We'll find it.
that crossover we were talking over. Is
So that's fixed. Let's see. Fixed issues with key bindings. Controllers should now have fully rebindable buttons, and we've updated the Savage preset to feel a little bit more like Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smite 1.
We got feedback that it didn't quite feel the same way. We tried a few different keybinds, especially with the new active system to make it work, and we found that going back to what Smite 1 does felt better overall. But if you liked what we did in the original Alpha Weekend, you can also now just change it back.
There you go.
Well, that's something that Smite 1 players have always wanted.
Yeah.
Fully rebindable console.
Yeah. This is
And that now,
really big deal.
where there's still, it's been getting improved to every alpha, and we'll keep expanding on that. Let's see. Tab and scroll wheel are now bindable. Is that meant to be dot? Is that the period key?
I think so.
Or is that a typo?
I think it's a typo. Yeah.
Because I would assume the period key was already rebindable. Fine.
Probably.
It's not included in this list.
We'll find out.
We'll
But
find out.
more
the
PC
fuck?
binds. VGS console pinging, tree keybinds. There was a lot of fixes
All
there. There was
right,
missing
show me
lines, there was some
the
mixed-up lines.
The fucking
VGS
bulk
causing
of this
movement
shit.
was a
Where's the
big one that's
goodies?
fixed. Yeah.
There was the ping system wasn't working for console. I don't think at all, but that should be working. And it was just using a test sphere, as we call the debug sphere, just a plain white circle. But now it actually has a real targeter. And we also fixed an issue with auto run.
This one made me sad. I like being able to
Did you encounter that one a lot?
MMOs. Yeah, but you could just hold it down to RP walk as you can do in MMOs. You just
swag
slow
it
mo
out.
walk, and I thought that was really funny. So maybe we bring it back somewhere.
Still probably do that through some
Just like
combination
spam
of
somehow.
keys.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well,
I want that back.
Well, yeah, those were the bug fixes that we wanted to highlight here on the show just because we
Skins
saw a
are
lot of community
next?
conversation about them
No.
during Alpha Weekend 1, so we wanted to call them out. lots more bug fixes on patch notes on the site. But let's get in game and talk about some of the other things that we're talking about. AJ, you mentioned some of the combat UI stuff that we're addressing.
How much do they have to pay me to be on the podcast following their rules?
We got a lot of
Depends on what the
feedback
rules
how
are.
damage numbers show on the screen. So we've made a pass in this new iteration of damage numbers to help improve just the general clarity.
Like, I'd be down to go on it if I could.
Yeah, we worked a lot on this, and we still have a long way to go.
Talk normal.
We just want to make sure we preface
No
that. This will
swearing
be an
at all. I mean,
active
I've done that
conversation
before when I
between the devs
casted
and the
with them
community to
a
figure
bunch.
out, you know, what people like the most, and
It's
we wanna
really not that
continue to
hard.
add more options, more variation to this. But the immediate changes you're going to see in the next alpha is there are no longer going to be the magical physical symbols next to everything when you deal damage.
Yeah,
It's
these
only going to be
damage number
when you
changes
take
are huge.
So you can already check what type of damage
Yeah,
you're dealing.
you already
by
knew what
reading the
damage you were
ability
doing,
tooltips.
so it's just weird.
So you don't really need that twice. But if someone is hitting you for a lot of damage and it's really big numbers, you want to know.
So tragic.
what
Thank you for the
items
10
again,
bucks.
so you can
I
still
never got
see
my
them.
legacy gems back
Additionally,
in
when
Smite
you
2,
take
so I don't
damage,
know
it's
how
gonna
many I
a
have
little
yet.
bit of
As even
coloration
after
change
subbing.
for magical versus physical. So when you take damage, you'll see the red number, but then you'll also see a tinted orange or purple symbol for the physical and magical. And there's also a variety of fixes we did just around sizing, anchoring, animation, just overall polished pass. Anything you want to add, Pon?
Yeah, there.
I believe
there's-
we're ready to go in game and kind of show some stuff.
Yeah,
off
we
this
can
podcast.
definitely look at it. The main things
Show
to
the
know are just
numbers.
there are
Please
a lot
look
of
better.
issues with how the damage
Please
is
look
scaling.
better.
So you'll see spoiler for things that are going to be here, but we'll
I
ignore
actually
that
think
for
the
now.
font they're
You can
using
see
is
the damage
dog
number
shit
now.
too.
There's spoilers here in this
Like, am I
current
trolling?
dev build.
Before all the damage numbers spawn from the same
Alright,
location.
damage numbers
and we
already
get
look better.
offset. So I have a clip of Kurnanos with 6 Manchu bows auto attacking with all this stuff. It would cause all the numbers to be across
Throw
the
it
screen.
too.
But you can see now, even if I do a whole bunch of stuff here, the damage numbers separate
looks
a
a
little
lot
bit.
better,
The
bro.
Basic attack damage is on one spot.
I still don't like parts of it. Like, it could be improved. I think the font is trash,
So they're all
but it's
separated
better.
out. We have a few more things that we're looking to do here, so you'll see more improvements in even the next alpha weekend as well. But this should be a much clearer combat experience in regards to seeing what damage number you're doing, seeing that it's attached more closely to the god that you're actually attacking, and then we can also do bot shoot 5. Nope, they're not going to attack because but
They're chilling right
you would
now.
see if you take damage. Similarly, the damage is more anchored on your character. It has a little bit of randomization to make sure that it doesn't overlap important damage numbers. There's scaling adjustments to the size of damage when you hit really big versus when you hit a small
one ward
amount.
is more than
The
enough.
Bigger damage takes more precedent. There's just a lot of things that weren't there before that you'll notice as you're playing and should be a better improvement. And again, give us feedback on this. Again, we're going to be constantly iterating on this. Damage numbers are one of those things that you could tweak probably forever. But if things are missing or things aren't quite feeling right when you're playing, definitely give us a shout out for that.
Absolutely.
I forgot to warn you that the nameplates were under construction in this build.
Oh yeah,
The health bars floating over the god's heads. That's not what they're going to look like, I don't believe, in Alpha 2, but they're currently still being iterated on for a future release.
yeah. This is technically the AW3 build you could call. So you might see some things that are weird, but
We've just decided that spoilers are okay on the show.
Yeah, it's fine,
There's a little
right?
bit, it's about the open communication, and players want to see where we're going next.
Yeah, they're gonna see even more progress. which is
Yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
there you'll see some of the progress that's going to be in the future, even though it's not in this patch. Okay, what's next?
Some updated gameplay settings that the community's been asking about. So things like the ruler line targeter is going to be added.
Yep.
And Alpha Weekend 2, the ability to remove the reticle from your screen is going to
They
be
need to
added.
censor
That
items.
Self-nameplate.
I hate that. Like, I feel like it's so dumb that items aren't centered.
The health bar shows above your character. Lots of stuff that is in Smite 1 that the community.
I
was
feel like
looking for
shitters
in
that are
Smite
playing
2
the
is gonna
game
be
don't
added as well.
process that.
Yeah, shouldn't make it feel
If
a little
it's not
bit
gonna be
more
a
like
custom
the Smite
UI,
you're
you need to have
comfortable with
item
and,
centered.
Getting those settings a little bit closer to how you had them in Smite 1 so that you can give us
Ruler,
better
removing the
feedback on,
reticle.
this isn't looking
Let's
right.
go.
Or,
That
I
reticle's
just needed
ass.
This and all of a sudden I just needed a ruler and I'm not super worried about my target.
Now I can go back to instant cast. or
Yeah,
whatever, maybe.
exactly.
Yeah, those are really important for
Yes,
getting,
Tally.
like, actually just being core. to
I'll start
people's
thinking the 30
gameplays.
months.
Like, more so than you would ever imagine.
It's those little things that like build up, and if you don't have the ability to customize some of that and remove your own frustrations that might be different to someone else's, yeah it'll impede your gameplay performance. So we're getting there.
Cool. All right, that's a quick one. Next one is going to be a much bigger one, but we're doing a pretty big
Oh,
pass.
hell yeah.
Pass on the item shop.
Yeah, it's exciting.
AJ, you want to kick us off and tell us about what we're doing with the item shop?
Visuals?
Yeah, so this is speaking specifically to the item shop UI and the general functionality and art, not the items in the shop. Although we'll get
Not
there
yet.
today too. So, couple big changes. First of all, just another art pass. this is an alpha. We've been iterating on our own internally. We've gone through a lot of item stores and HUDs that players haven't even seen, and a lot of adjustments. So we're going to keep shipping those to players as we go. But this one, the new item store has a completely new look to it. It's let's see, it's a little more dark in the coloration. It's got some black and gold and silver.
Is this only Smite 2? Yeah.
We'll probably be able to demo it here shortly.
Yeah, I
Might
think
one patch
looks
notes
really
won't be
cool.
for like another 2 weeks, I think, right?
There we go. So
3
you'll
weeks.
also see some new features here that we'll talk about as well that are, I think everything we're going to see here is in the alpha 2. But here's kind of the new look for the item store. These colors fit our tone a little bit better, we felt, and they also just help with the clarity. Makes it feel less noisy, less busy. So we're going to be experimenting with that here, and then depending on how we feel about this,
It's
this is something
definitely
that,
cleaner because of the
is
dark
potentially gonna be
background color
driving a
changes
lot
they
of our
chose.
UI artistic design
I like
through
it?
the rest of the HUD, the screens that you use while you play Smite, and even some of the front end. As we're still, nailing down.
I don't
the
dislike it.
thematic art style.
I probably
that
just
we're
have
gonna use
to
throughout the entire game,
use
so
it
can
more
be
to have a real
consistent.
opinion on it.
One thing that we struggle with on Smite 1 when you're building on the game over itself for 10 plus years, certain things look dated, certain things look different. So trying to do our best here to keep that consistent as we go. Let's see. We have a lot of controller navigation improvements.
Shout outs to all the console and controller players for all the feedback on the item store, for sure.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, we have a controller dedicated team at the studio, and we have controller dedicated ambassadors and streamers and people, community members who are giving us a lot of feedback there. So not going to list out all the specifics.
All
but
item
the
prices
general
changes and
entire
stats changed in this patch.
flow of navigating through
Patch
this
is gonna
shop
change
with the
builds
controller
completely.
had many changes, and we're going to continue making changes to make that as smooth as possible on controller. Okay, the next one is the really exciting one, which we're hopefully going to be able to demo for you here with Ponpon's settings. So we have now added the option to the store to display it in 3 different ways.
This is wild.
Yeah.
Have you used this setting?
I have
live?
not used this.
You have? Oh, I use
All right,
this every game.
So you're gonna have to hit escape, Pon. You have to exit the store, hit escape. You're gonna go to your settings. I think it's under gameplay at the very bottom.
There it is.
Item store layout. Go ahead and pick centered.
Yeah.
And hit apply, and save and exit. And now open your item store.
Bang.
Oh my
There
god.
we go.
Smite PC players.
I have just unlocked
You not know about that?
so much
Oh,
knowledge and
fuck.
happiness.
Yeah, no, I didn't know this.
I didn't
We've been hyping this around the studio. These
I
guys
know.
are so focused on making their
I
gods.
use that
So
too.
true.
But I mean, that's part of the process. I think that's been really
That's
interesting. right?
pretty
It's like, at
dope.
some
That's
point,
smart idea to
someone
give,
UI
like,
team was
preferences.
let's see what it would look like in this sort of format. And there's like they quickly prototyped it, worked it up, and put it inside the game. That
This is a good example of one of the tangible benefits of UE5.
100%.
Because this
not have been
modular UI, widget
An editor and
blueprints,
escape menu?
for the
Yeah, we'll see. I hope it
devs out
works.
there have allowed us to
Some great to
essentially
go.
use all of our core code and UI work and just arrange it in slightly different sizes and shapes, because the way Unreal handles that is it's designed to let you do that.
Even having this kind of a discussion back on Smite 1 would have just been like
Would have been months.
half a
Yeah.
year ordeal. Or
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
This
so
ended up
that's
being
the
like
UI feature for this season.
Yeah.
Like,
Our UI team on Smite 1 just worked so damn
So hard.
Yeah.
Because with that old tech, it was
It
very
was-
limiting.
Yes.
And they
Yeah,
still
right.
did amazing things, but it was very limiting. But wait, Pon, there's more. Please go
Wait,
ahead to
there's
the
more.
setting and choose one more setting for me. I believe it's called the split option,
Oh yeah, the third one.
and save that for me. And
Apply that.
We're gonna save.
and now the classic
Da-da-da.
console player experience
Oh.
You don't have any
will
sacrifice.
also be
I don't
supported.
like that.
So you're going to get the new shop left aligned by default. We're still really interested in experimenting with that one to make it as useful as possible, keeping everything in one place, not covering the whole screen. But
You're
we know
using
there's
this,
different
you're
things that
filthy.
different players want and different platforms want. So here we go. We have all
Yay.
3.
It's gonna be on YouTube. Just be like the like and comment and tell us which one
Right.
you're gonna be
like,
using.
comment,
Yeah.
subscribe. Let us know which
In the comments,
item
which one
shop
you're
you're going to
Let
be
me
using
know
in
in the comments which one you use. Yeah,
Or spam it in chat right now. Let us know which one you're going to use.
Some other features you'll see in the item store is the those little up and down arrows in the top right. You can now pivot between tier 3s
Yep,
versus
huge.
tier 1s, sorting up and down. I believe that's in Alpha 2.
Now you're tier
If it's-
3.
If you have to wait till Alpha 3, I apologize, but I think it is. I think it is in Alpha 2. The other one is those new filter buttons across the top.
Yeah.
These are now a subset
What?
of items
They have
by
a role based? That's actually kind
and
of
there's
sick.
Some level of God, unique tailoring to these items as well. These are currently a
Can you wave?
designer configured
Say hi,
items.
everybody.
This is just a set of like.
Look at there.
It's intended
Say
to
hi.
be a set of recommended items from the design team on what you might need in each god in each role. So if you somehow end up playing Soul Jungle and you're not really sure what to do, like we gave you at least some place to start.
Some new icons I haven't even seen yet. I'm like staring at them. Like,
I know the helms.
The helms are the ones. Yeah. Any of those helms, I haven't even seen those.
A lot of icon art coming in over time. We didn't list all those out on patch notes, but there are some really cool ones to keep an eye out for.
Some viewers with some eagle eyes might notice some new items that we'll get into a little bit later. Yeah.
If you go back to so this is in the split screen, but if you're using the default screen or the centered screen, you'll now see that the filters have text instead of
a
just
popsicle.
the symbol.
It's like his favorite thing in the world.
So you can read which stat you're choosing more easily. You also, Pawn, just do a quick test for me. When you go up and search for an item, can you just type crit in there?
Is that in yet?
You can now search by stats.
We're talking about that. I didn't know that.
And some stat abbreviations.
Quality of life, dude. It's getting deep.
Or like something in
They're
between.
getting deep with it.
Crit, or
I thought it was a
critical
churro
strike.
and I was an orange popsicle.
It's a little limited right now, but there are a couple shortcuts. I think if you search like strength or STR, you should also get that.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
like
very
and that'll work for pretty much every stat if you type the name or type the like the magic abbreviation.
I'd like aggro and get his Zeus's build in there.
Yo, there's a plan.
I think attack speed is like ATK SPD or something like that. But you can see those in the other store. The left aligned store, you can see those abbreviations too, and those are the right ones. So
yeah, I want to play around with this.
I know. I'm gonna add something. You're gonna type in something.
We
weird.
can add those really easily.
Or
I can show you how to do it. You can add any. You can add clumsy special, and it could just bring up your build. You can actually do that.
All the pure stat sticks, I'm just gonna put Big Damn on.
Oh yeah,
Big damn classic.
Oh,
Okay, so I mean, I know we're hanging out on the item store for a long time, but we're really
lots of
excited about
changes
this.
here,
This was probably the most discussed.
What was the last
feel like the
shop?
single
What did it
most
look
discussed
like?
feature
I need to see a
of the
screenshot of the last shop
I mean, it's maybe hard to make
because I'm
that
sure this
claim,
looks
but
10,000
there's a
times better
lot of
next to the last shop.
It's up there.
Yep.
So a lot of effort went into that for Alpha 2. And
I still
gonna
hate
get
why
continued
aren't
effort
items
throughout
centered?
the next phases.
Why are we not
I
centering
think that's the
active
end of our
items?
section for like bug fixes and new kind of Alpha Weekend 2 features. But we just got done talking about the item store, but let's hop into items
Let's dive into some
overall,
of the
right?
items themselves, yeah.
So the first one, talking about items, not necessarily an individual item change, but an overall item change. Stat efficiency buffs. What are we doing here?
This is a first. A Smite first. Another Smite first of the day. We haven't really talked about this too much in the previous test. We hinted at it, but now we're actually seeing it for real.
Decreased
So,
cost
the Smite
per
2 item
point
system has this
for
concept of
attack
stat
speed and
efficiency.
crit.
Each
New int
stat,
plus
so strength,
cooldown
int,
stat
attack speed,
efficiency.
cooldown rate, whatever, have
Changes
a
will cause items
gold
with the
value
adjusted
per
stat
point
on
of
them
that
to have
stat
more
associated
stats.
to them. That is what balances the tier 1 items, and that is taken up through the tier 2 and the tier 3 items. Now, other mathematical formulas are in the tier 2s and tier 3s to adjust that a little bit depending on the strength of the passive or active of the effect, essentially. But there is like an intentional connective balance point between each stat. So we're going to see today a couple of the first stat efficiency changes, buffs. So we have today a decreased cost for buying attack speed and crit.
Yes.
This is connected to a god change.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We'll be talking about in the god section.
Yes.
You want to chat about that real quick so it gives context?
I wonder if they made gods feel better
The main
with
change
their
we did
cast
was
animations.
we got feedback that especially bruiser characters were very, very effective. They could be super tanky and they could also deal a lot of
Not
damage.
just bruisers,
One of
just
the main
hybrid
drivers
builds.
of that was actually everyone having strength as a base stat. And it was a very high amount of strength so that everyone's basic attacks would hit pretty hard. We've brought that down overall across the board so that now you actually have to invest more into your build to actually do that much damage, which should temper the kind of bruiser build that we were seeing. To compensate for that, so if you are playing a carry and you're auto-attacking a ton and you're building attack speed or crit to make those auto-attacks more powerful, it's going to be essentially easier to get a point of crit or a point of attack speed than it was before.
Right.
To basically compensate for that.
Because the carries, like tank characters lost some strength, but carries did too.
Yes.
And it wasn't just tank gods that were doing, bruiser gods that were doing well. It was like bruiser builds on like anyone.
Yeah.
Was really strong. So that's one of the key changes we'll get to in the top of the god section, and connected to it here was that
They changed the POV camera angle. I don't know. I couldn't tell from the Soul gameplay.
So buffed.
Yeah.
Pretty much buffed. The way this manifests itself in the game is every
2
item
years of baby
with an
rage
attack
finally
Thank you,
speed
Angel.
crit
sniffing.
stat on it is going to either be cheaper for the same stats or give you more stats for the price.
Yes.
I don't want it. You want it?
The other one we did is new int cooldown. So we had just cooldown efficiency, but we felt
water?
like mages, mid laners, intelligence users we went the whole first patch show without ever saying the word
I know.
management. I messed it up immediately here. We're feeling a little on the weaker side from the feedback and from the data. So one of the ways we buff that is by giving them better rate on their cooldown items. So if int and cooldown are on the same item, you're going to be getting more efficient items than protection and cooldown or strength and cooldown.
Yeah.
So in that ways, you'll see either higher int on the intelligence cooldown items or higher cooldown.
Yeah.
Or cheaper.
Right, because for intelligence users that are traditionally played in the mid lane, they rely on that cooldown more.
Am I getting paid to promote Smite 2?
A tank needs to rely.
Considering
on
I've
it,
never
or
been paid for Smite 1.
Auto attacker needs to rely on it, so they need
think
their
you can
items
figure
to
out
be
the
more
answer to that.
efficient in that way, or else their builds will just be more expensive getting the stats that they need. You know, it's I think having the same stat but viewed through the correct contextual lens, those need to have different stat values, and I think that
it's fine-tuned balance, and it also introduces an additional unique element to int builds in general.
Yep.
So if you know, even if you're going like int chalk,
Yep.
you're also going to be able to get more efficient cooldown.
Yes.
Which is just, we thought was really cool. Kind of the way strength is also going to be affecting your basic attacks.
Yep.
Into now kind of in
You
these situations
gotta
also
tell you
helps you build more effective cooldown.
Talk about
I
anything
think it's made
relevant. They are being general.
those characters'
so
builds
this is
feel
relevant
much
more to when we can
like
actually see the stats on the
it
items.
should just feel very natural to players, I think, hopefully.
Yep.
Tad, man,
The
you're
next
good,
thing
dude.
that's up with items is kind of another overarching change. Let's talk about cost and economy.
This is a loaded bullet point.
Yeah, I
right
know,
here.
right?
So
Oh
we
yeah,
kept it
dude.
simple
This
here,
shop is so much better than the old
for
shop.
The communication
Yeah,
plan.
lots more info in the written patch notes on the site.
But
Old shop.
not even all of the info this would be an extremely long
Old
section. We would
shop.
essentially have to relist out the entire item store again. So we opted not to do that in the patch notes this time. Let us know if that's trouble. You know, we can look into
Exactly.
I think it's
strategies in the
ugly.
future, but you'll want to check in game. But
Decrease
effectively every item in the
Conquest
game has
starting
had some
gold.
level of minor rebalance to it because of this. So we decrease the starting gold in Conquest and decrease the prices of a lot of tier 1s. So this helps you smooth out your build so you can buy 6 potions and an item and run out of gold perfectly.
Yeah.
This helps. We still allow you to build the same combinations of build we did before. Also, we made tier 1s and tier 2s cheaper to give ourselves more flexibility with tier 3s. In Alpha 1, pretty much every tier 3 was very expensive because we were kind of pushing ourselves to the max through the tier 1s and tier 3s because these things are all connected now. And there's a lot of systems involved. We can't just like break the rules in different places like we did in Smite 1 with the tree system. So there was a lot of like bottom up rework of every item. Tier 2s are more efficient.
Yep.
Tier 2s are cheaper generally.
Yeah, I wonder if T-Screen will
Around
work.
around
I
the
bet
same
you it
cost, maybe
won't.
a little cheaper.
Okay. And then tier 3s now have a little bit more intentional cost stratification. You're going to see some
He said 6
intentionally cheaper
potions.
tier 3s. and some
Well, I guess
intentionally
like
still like
ADCs
3K.
and supports and
the
stuff are getting
average-
5 in
the
Smite 1.
average tier 3 was like 2.7k before, and now it's closer to 2.4, 2.5. And the range now it goes from like 2.2 to 3, where before like most items sat around 2.5 or higher. So you have a much bigger range of items to choose from, and the general cost of all of them combined together has gone down. But this should mean that you can actually build, like, you can rush a cheaper item to get a more efficient power spike, or some effects only make sense in the context of on a cheaper item in general.
Right. So
This is like an amount of like 50 gold.
Show
for
us the
Conquest
item,
on
like the
tier 1
specifics.
strength.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm glad they're
500
telling
gold.
us
It should
this,
be
but
able
this
to
should
build
be
the
quick
same. It should
into
feel
the
nicer to
items.
build your items and finish out spending all your gold.
it's going to affect different items in various.
So show us how, instead
there
of
might be
being
some that
generic.
are more intense and maybe would have been worth discussing a little bit more. But we picked a subset of items that we're doing a lot of heavier balance on top of to talk about today. But in most cases, you're going to see these minor adjustments in cost and stat for pretty much every item in the game.
You should still be able to buy 2 cheap tier 1 items and a couple pots, or 1 more expensive tier 1 and 1 cheap tier 1 with no pots available. Like that's the general flow for the starting gold chain.
And at tier 3 items, since because of the efficiency rules in the component system, if an item is cheaper, it also had stats adjusted to fit with that cost adjustment or made expensive, etc. Like we don't just change those things independently like we used
Are
to.
specific item
everything
stats
will be
really that
balanced
important in
much
such
the
an
same
early
way
build?
through the efficiency
Yeah.
system, but some things will be more expensive than others.
Of course they are.
Some things will be cheaper.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of exciting things to go look for when you get into this alpha.
Speaking of exciting things,
totally.
I want to talk about some new stuff, right?
All of this
we got
is
some
the
new
exact
items to go
same as
through,
the
so
specifics.
Let's go ahead and kick it off.
All of
The
this could
first
change
new item on the
in
list
the next alpha.
is Pendulum
So
Blade.
what you just said is
Clumsy, why don't
really
you,
makes no
open
fucking
up this
sense.
one for us.
Because who gets the one after this is the spicy one.
All right, fine. Well, you want to give this one to Aggro so you can have the next one?
Yeah.
that way.
Oh, the mid level gets the less exciting item. I see how it goes. No, Pendulum Blade, really fun effect. You know, this is an effect that we used a lot in Smite 1. Temporal beads and that kind of stuff has always allowed for really cool playmaking. And now with the Smite 2 item system, we can give those exciting effects on active items very easily. So now just reduce your cooldown by 3 seconds. Loki players, you're already getting your vanish resets off and all that kind of stuff. Now you can get it even faster if you don't get that kill. There are a lot of different cool applications for Pendulum Blade that this has already become like one of the items that I'm always going to in the late game.
These items are
Feels good,
spicy,
you
but
get
they're
like
so
Yotons for
expensive.
You want some even more, you go Pendulum Blade. Feels
Yep.
Some quick shout outs on this item. So first of all, you'll notice temp art.
Yeah.
It's using the bladed
Like,
boomerang as a
like this, like it's a
placeholder.
dope
It's gonna be a
item,
theme.
and it's probably gonna be a
One of the
6th item because
awesome
it's
parts
3K
about
gold.
Being in an alpha is that we can prototype items really quickly
Oh, yeah.
and get them out to y'all. We're gonna
Basically,
use
the
temp
idea
art,
from
though,
these,
in a lot
I
of those
think,
cases.
are you'll
If those
open, like
items
you'll get to
withstand the
6th
test of
item. You'll be
time
like,
and the
okay, I want to
community's
insta kill somebody to
trials,
lick
and they love
him.
it and they wanna keep it,
So you'll
that's great.
use this
Well,
to
we will
open on
art
them.
up
They'll
all these items
active or
eventually, as you saw
whatever,
a lot
and then
of
you'll
new art's
pop
been
it,
done
and then you'll
already
kill them
today.
again because your abilities are back up.
If not, then we can cut it and make a new one. And
Yeah.
No,
it
this
doesn't
is
really
like
waste any time or effort.
how
It's
I
crazy
imagine this
exciting
is
to
a
me. So,
final
yes,
item
we have,
and the game
5
item.
brand
Like
new
I'm
items
gonna use this
today,
to win my
some
last
of which
fight
that
and win the
are,
game.
Active, some are stat sticks and etc. So yeah, I wanted to call it the prototype items in the temp art.
I don't know
And then
how
also
else it
just
would be
with these active
relevant,
Items, they just these,
but
these
maybe I
effects that
just
have been
can't
in
see
Smite
it.
1 work so well with the new active system. And that's really the theme here for this next item.
Yeah,
Clumsy.
this next item is one that we wanted to play around with a while. We just couldn't find the right way to do it. But now with the active item system, well,
I don't think it'll be about destroying the enemy team. I think it'll be last item. Same with some of this one.
The crazy one.
High luxury gold, like we're talking about, just intelligence and CDR with the int CDR. But now, when you press this active item, your next non-ultimate ability will have no cooldown. You can press it twice.
Double spell.
Double spells.
It's good.
It's real good. 3-minute cooldown.
It's good.
It's a long cooldown. You got to actually plan around what you're doing. I think when we first introduced this, we're playing around with like 90 seconds just to see how it felt, right? But you know, this is not an item where you want to have the active effect so often and you price the stats accordingly. Like you want to make sure that this felt fair because that active effect is good. It's always going to feel good.
And both of these
This is
actives,
also
we
like
really
a
were
late
trying to
game
still
item, I
find
feel
some
like.
actives that are even more skill ceiling-y.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So like some of the actives we had in the initial test were kind of intentionally very straightforward. Like
Totally.
Basically,
a
think
super long
like
duration self buff.
like
just hit it
Scylla or
and then
Ra
fight.
or anybody, you
But
know,
these
you
ones,
run
Pendulum
in and
Blade
you
Muted, are,
2-2 on Scylla or
specifically
you 1-1
geared
on
towards
Ra.
Even more perfect timing and decision making and aim to really maximize their benefit, which you know.
Yeah,
as we see,
it'll
some
probably
players
be
really
good
are,
later,
we'll,
5th,
we'll
6th
really
item
see
in a
how
build.
strong these items
I was gonna say,
which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
Sean, are you
It
good
won't
enough? Do you
cancel an
wanna show-
ability.
show us in
You'll
game,
literally like pop it and then you'll one
weird
and then one
action?
again.
Like,
Sure.
Like, yeah.
I mean, we have cheats out all the time, so we're like just double dropping abilities like nonstop in these shows.
soul.
But
Right. So if I
turn
act-
What's she doing? She's using
cooldown
abilities.
should be off. Oh no, I don't have cooldowns off.
he was cheating.
Yep, he was cheating.
Classic pawn.
Always.
There, the
watching.
activation. There's
Check
the,
on mommy.
the text.
The beautiful temp effects.
Those are nice temp effects. Good choice.
There we go.
They
That should be spoilers.
Yeah, double Zeus 3 is probably the biggest one.
So if you see
Double
someone
Zeus
running
3
around
will
with
be
those
broken.
blue crystalline sparkles on them, you know they're about to double spell you. So watch out.
And there, if I remember correctly, the balance point we reaches, there is no timer on that staff mirrored. I
feel like that visual is gonna be hard to see in a team fight.
Exactly.
So you can't cheat it.
You
Oh,
can't
so you
cheat
can
it.
just like pre-pop it and walk
Pre-pop it, you're
around.
waiting,
Okay.
But then whatever ability you use next.
Yeah, but then
that's
you
the one that
you are
matters.
gonna waste your cooldown if you don't end up
Exactly.
using that.
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah. You can't use it and then 3 minutes later get like a double proc.
You can't do that. Triple proc.
Triple proc.
Yeah, no triple procs.
And at the moment, this is just
Triples
the
is
non-ultimate ability, so this is not like your next active item cooldown, which is something that we thought about, but that's just getting like one step
That's
too far
spicy.
for now.
It's only your
maybe
1, 2, or
later.
3.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't think you'll build this until
All right,
last
next
item,
new item
or
is,
5th.
Spear of Negation.
It's not that good early, I feel like.
Stat stick on this one, right?
It is, but it's a unique niche combination of stats that didn't exist in the game.
Yep.
Pon Pon was a big
Yeah,
proponent of this one.
I literally
What?
was just like,
Int Magic
when
didn't
we
exist.
have Poseidon, and he Krakens me, and I am Hebo. how do I survive Kraken without buying like just a shield or something, right?
I mean,
and like
so
I
hybrid.
used to play back in season
I hate just stat
alpha
items
version,
and I
right?
hate hybrid
and that
items.
was like a situation, and you had like Voidstone, and Voidstone was just really effective at continuing
Voidstone
to do
was
damage,
one of the
but
most
being that
OP
one targeted item that would let you
magical
survive
protection
the
items
first
in
combo,
Smite
because
for the first
after you
4
survived
years.
the first combo, you were good, right?
Yeah,
So
build
I
it
just
hate
feels like
hybrid items. I
it just feels a niche
fucking
that we didn't
hate
have
them.
before. I'm happy to have it. I like it. And sometimes the items that like you need can be relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
This item does have some connectivity to another.
It's
like,
so
reworked item
boring.
we'll talk
It's
about
no
later today, so it
passive,
made it even
and it's
more
hybrid
necessary.
item.
But we also
yes.
like this item ended up being a stat stick because we wanted it to still have these stats in pretty high quantities.
Yep.
We didn't want to like dilute this effect with the passive, and God knows we tried with Stone of Fall and like every different way we tried to make that mage anti-mage item work when it's
Yeah.
like
How many different
let's
iterations?
just
of Stone
go
of
with
Fall
the
did we have?
simple version here, which
Yeah.
is like a medium amount of intelligence and a high amount of magical protections.
Yeah, if I want to survive Kraken and still do a decent amount of damage, I build
Right.
this.
If your opponent team is investing a little too much in their magical damage, or maybe whoever's running away with the game, this is a really strong counter item that just should slot in well. It's going to be situational. It's not going to be the most popular item in the game.
It's
but I
not
think
like luxury statted with luxury,
yeah,
stats and
it's relatively
luxury
cheap, so you
priced
can
and
get into it when you're in an emergency if you need to. But it's going to be a solid role player.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got another classic item returning: Breastplate of I can't talk. Breastplate of Valor, making its way to Smite 2.
And we're in a different order. Did you skip one?
Did I? Oh, I did skip one. Typhon's Fang.
Are they? Production's got it,
Production
though.
is good.
They were quick.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
they're
quick.
like,
yeah,
they're
they
like, we
know.
can do
Yeah.
either. We're
we
good.
can do either. They're ready to go. Yeah.
We're messing with them.
So we have first the Smite 2 reworked version of Typhon's Fang. Now we chose the name, even though this item doesn't do the same thing, because it's just kind of the known high lifesteal item.
Yep.
Yep.
And everybody
These
just
base
knows
stat
that.
items,
The way we chose to represent that here, in
they're
Smite 2 is
so
pretty interesting.
boring that I feel like nobody's gonna want to build them.
Line of stats here.
Yeah.
It's just a ton of
But
lifesteal.
40% is a lot of lifesteal,
Yeah.
but no power,
No int, no strength,
no power, no stats.
just a lot of lifesteal.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion going back and forth on like, what do we want to
2,700 gold?
trying to achieve? And the ultimate idea was, well, we just want an item where the premier stat is lifesteal. What can we do with that? Who's that for? Originally, it was for the intelligence users, but we're like, okay, well, there's actually more flexibility if we lean.
is not
onto the
okay with
lifesteal
Kikalkan
stat.
at all.
And now this can actually apply to anyone. If you're a strength user,
4% of 150 for power.
abilities or basic attacks, you can still make use
Sick.
of that.
You're
lifesteal in your
getting
own
6
independent way.
power from this
it's very
item.
viable on any god.
Yep.
If you're willing to
Or
sacrifice
6 int if its conversion isn't an int.
int or protections and instead go for a lot of lifesteal.
It's a luxury stat, luxury price. The
Lifesteal is also, reminder, strong. In
Very strong.
Yeah.
It is
Very,
strong,
very
yes.
Right.
It
Because
is
there's
strong
no,
inside too.
It's automatically ability lifesteal. This isn't.
And, yeah, basic attack and abilities for all gods.
And there's no AoE coefficient.
Right.
So
It's just god versus minion.
previously, you would drop you do a full Anubis combo and hit a bunch of people with your 3.
All the
and your
items
1.
aren't expensive. They
You
reduce
lifesteal
the
a good
price
amount
of pretty
because
much
you're
every
Anubis,
item in the
but
game.
Your actual values that you're getting from your lifesteal percentages are very low. Now you're going. I
think this is too expensive to go on a hunter.
Insane amount of lifesteal.
Unless
It's
lifesteal
still-
just
it's
is
still
so
allowed for
cracked,
no
then they'll just nerf
int,
lifesteal.
right.
Power of any sense.
Like,
But
I
that's
think
what makes it
Anubis
really
is gonna want
interesting.
this item, but maybe not even every time, depending on the style.
The counter builds with anti-heal, of course, you got to keep that in mind. If
I even put that in the dev notes. Like, hey, just a reminder to look out for those ruinous items that are our anti-heal set. In
Yeah.
too. So
If you see an enemy Anubis with Typhon's Fang, buy an anti-heal.
and there's a
need it.
tier 1 component of some anti-heal available.
Actually,
so,
you can even
start
slash a little
counter-building
anti-heal.
immediately.
Maybe it'll just be that OP.
Yep.
All right, breastplate of valor. I still can't say the item. My second try.
This is busted, by the
Gave you the
way.
do-over,
I know,
bro.
right?
This is busted.
life is cruel sometimes.
I know, right?
But it's back.
Yeah.
An iconic Smite 1 item. Again, just kind of like a niche that even though frontliners were very strong in the first alpha weekend,
Niche. This item
we're
is
taking some power
fucking
away
busted.
from them. We want to make sure they don't feel super weak or anything like that. And this is one of the niches that they were kind of missing. That high cooldown item with a little bit of protection that's fairly accessible. But now, for the first time
It's
ever,
annoying, Scyther.
Breastplate got its
I mean, it's
glyphs
unique.
in Smite 1, but it never had a true passive. Now has an actual passive attached to it, which has felt really, really good and very natural to its identity of the cooldown.
The shittier
Specifically
Genjis,
wanted
maybe.
to choose a flat amount of health to be used here as the thresholds, because if it's percentage based, then theoretically anyone can make use of it to a pretty decent degree. But now, if you really want to make use of that passive, you should be buying more health. You should be buying more supplemental items with health on it. You'll be getting even more value out of that passive.
That's really
Frontliners
cool.
will really
Yeah, I
care
like
about
that a
it.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That's
If you have low health, you're barely going to trigger this.
Exactly.
Right? You're just going to
400
die.
HP base is a
Yeah,
large
they don't
amount.
want this to be on
We think
like
about
hybrid
2 triggers of
mages
this,
and
maybe,
shit,
and
I
even more if
guess.
you start building towards health.
All right. Well, that's it for our new items. Well, we got a couple of
Passive has no
rework items,
cooldown.
and the first
I mean, if
one
you lost,
is
you
kind
know,
of a big
1200
topic
HP and then
here.
1200
So,
HP,
AJ,
you
I'm
get 2
gonna-
seconds
I
off.
didn't see any discourse.
I know, right? No discourse about it.
Oh.
So no, this isn't gonna be that interesting. think
I know,
this is
right?
it.
So I know I've been talking with AJ a lot about this.
I think we can blink right past it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So if you didn't already get it from Clumsy Little Hint, we're going to talk about Blinking Amulet here.
That's right.
So making some changes to Blinking Amulet. AJ, give us a rundown on what we
They
saw. in
fucked
Alpha
this
Weekend
item.
1 and kind of how we're looking at Blink.
I think they fucked this item.
We saw a
The
lot of hype,
cooldowns, though.
Honestly, a lot of love.
Very exciting.
A lot of fun.
What I'm
And
looking
that's
at
great.
with these items is they plan
We
on you
have
having
also
one
a lot
item
of
with
tough
no power on
lessons
it.
to learn and
At
tough
least.
discussions to be had
At least
about
one
the
item in
and
damage
the
builds with no
concept
power on it.
in general.
Between the
So,
lifesteal,
first of all, I want to say, you know, we're
blink.
gonna reworking items is going to be commonplace. We're having a very experimental approach. We're having a lot of testing.
They were-
by
the
all means does
cooldown
not mean
reduction is the
items
only
failed
thing that
in
makes
any way.
this,
It's going to be
like,
just a part of the alpha
appealing.
process to keep reworking things, testing things, seeing what we feel, seeing how things play out.
It's
Now
no longer
Blink
a
is
combat
probably gonna be
blink.
one that we'll
It's
be
an out of combat
looking at
blink,
in
shorter
multiple rounds.
range,
But
more
we have a pretty,
expensive.
like, I want to make sure I
But
get
lower
my,
cooldown.
my phrasing as good as correct as possible here, because there's a lot of challenging ways you can interpret this. So you'll see here on your screen a lot of changes we did. I'm not going to read them all off. I'll kind of summarize it more highly, which is that we wanted to keep the playmaking alive on this item as much as possible. So you're still going to be able to blink while you're using other abilities, which we just thought was really cool, really fun. It's going to take some bug fixing and some practice internally to make sure that works well with everything. The QA team is still a little shaken by this decision to keep this, but it was just so hype.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what we felt like was the biggest problem for Blink was the combat Blink. So we kind of broke it down in our design discussions between like ability Blink, combat Blink, or like combat ability Blink.
Yeah, I
The
don't
previous one
understand
just
why
had
they
no
don't want this to be.
which obviously made for some
like,
hype plays,
fun.
but also like didn't really feel that rewarding when you can't be counterplayed, you can't be stopped, you can't be prevented. It's just going to work every time if you know how to press the buttons. Like we obviously that was fun for the first weekend, but we think that was going to grow tired really fast. When you have a like completely uncounterable effect.
I don't mind
The
them
only way
thinking
to
it,
balance it would be to have an
like,
excessively
not combat
long
blink
cooldown
anymore,
or
but
really bad stats.
these changes
Both
are
of which
wild.
people were already not liking. Like that was, if there was any negatives about Blink, they were like, man, this character I always like to build Blink on, but I'm just getting, you know, like I'm making such a sacrifice for these bonus effects. So really what we wanted to make this next version of Blink was, what's the most powerful, exciting version of Smite 2 Blink for the more traditional use cases Smite 1 needs Blink. So here we have a combination of stats. No longer allowed to be used in combat, which is significant nerf. So in that case, we were able to buff it in a lot of other ways. It got a little cheaper. It got a little better stats.
Wait.
It got a significantly lower cooldown.
Half. Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
expensive.
So the gods who really need Blink will be best served by this.
You said made it cheaper. Is
and
it?
of course the cool
Is it
ambushing
cheaper or is it more
troll
expensive?
plays,
Hold
whatever,
on.
charging up your Ymir in the bushes and then teleporting with no graphical effects, you know, that's on us. But we're gonna let you keep doing it for now until we could fix the visual issues and things like that. So yeah, we felt this was just like a really good meeting point between the items. And the last little like asterisk on the end is we're gonna keep looking into more unique movement items.
Yeah, it's
I think
more
there's
expensive.
A spoiler in an upcoming deep dive that,
They
that
made
might
it
be
more expensive.
So not
The
necessarily
one you were
say-
doing? The one you, oh boy.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, we put
I
that
got
in the
permission
video.
already. So
I don't know if it's out yet.
no,
I don't
it's
think
not
it
out
is,
yet.
no.
It's coming in
It'll
Alpha
be in
3, though.
between Alpha 2. Well, maybe the goal is the goal.
So we're not to say that we're immediately going to try to deliver like a combat Blink replacement.
Yeah, no.
But like we're gonna keep adding more alternatives with some unique effects.
They're probably
that
thinking
can do
teleport
movement
again, bro.
and,
Fuck
like,
teleport.
If the main thing people are missing from this change is that they can't like blink out of
Yeah,
combat anymore.
we
there are
got
other
8
ways we can
cooldown
implement things that
rating
can
for
deliver a
100
similar
gold,
experience.
reduction in range, reduction in
Self-displacement? Is it,
cooldown.
trying to
I think
hinder
Blink still
the enemies?
sucks.
Is it juking? Is it invis?
I feel like you're just not gonna go it because of the loss of
Does
stats.
it have to live all on one item? Yeah.
So this is the new Blink. I'm excited to see how this goes for now. I think the characters that like Blink are going to be doing really well with this.
I don't think
You
they're
can
going to be
still make
building
those
it.
crazy
I think it'll be
plays.
on like
But you have to watch
tank
out.
engages
Like,
that
if
can
you
afford
queue
to
up that
not
shock
have
ult and
damage.
prepare to blink on the team. You got to dodge those hits, or it's going to prevent you from blinking because you'll be hit. You'll trigger the combat timer.
Yep.
So, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It gives you the maximum playmaking potential with the maximum counterplay.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. You don't.
Right.
How can you argue with that? Someone's going to argue with
Well, of course. Yeah. I'm sure. Check the chat right now. I'm sure someone's
that.
arguing.
Probably already arguing with
But I feel like this is
Wait, do I have chat on this?
a very good and natural next step for let's see how this feels, and then we'll reevaluate after that. But I'm excited about the potential of this Blink.
Yeah. But everybody watching, feel free to try out Blink and Alpha Weekend 2. Let us know what you think after getting some games.
fun,
with
Kyle.
it. You know, we're taking all that feedback in, and like AJ said, we're just going to be continuing to not only look at Blink, but other movement items in the future.
Yep.
Oh, did I say cheaper? Apparently, it went but got more expensive. My bad. It was
Oh.
the stats and the cooldown that.
Sorry, AJ,
that
you're
accounted
fired for that.
Yeah. We adjusted a lot of.
There were shifts. There was
We
buffs
adjusted a
and-
lot of costs and shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe I should have read that bullet point. Now.
Yeah, we had this actually took up a lot of our discussion time.
Yeah. Blink was like many hours of discussion on its own,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. The next
still trying to
reworked
figure out
item-
where we- if
I
that's
know,
exactly-
right?
Notes are decent.
We have
Quality
an
of
insight
life
show
changes
tomorrow.
are
We
good.
can
The
do-
items
that's
are
true.
questionable.
Yeah, Dev Insight
Details.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Sure.
Talk about this in more detail. I see some other questions coming up that are talking about CC and beads and other things like that. We can talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
Cool. All right, next reworked item is Bloodbound book. It is shifting from a passive item to an active item. Who wants to take Bloodbound book?
I can.
Cool.
I think largely we just found that the kind of on-demand shield effect that Bloodforge was giving us was
Oh,
one
it's
of
just
those things
mirroring
that
Bloodforge.
when Bloodbound book procced, it wasn't necessarily when you actually wanted it procced. It didn't necessarily save you. You could be so overkilled that it didn't quite matter.
fuck. I never
But
seen
being able to
the-
control it just gives it
Killing
a
a
lot
god
more
reduces the cooldown by
agency over it. Like,
50%?
I can use this when I know that I can use
What
this.
the
to survive
fuck? I
and
never-
be more
is that
aggressive
like that
and
for
make the
Bloodforge?
play, and that control isn't taken away from me. So this effect, I think, is just better served as an active, and so we moved it over to that style of effect. So now it is your more intelligence focused kind of Bloodforge.
So no assist, I'd assume. You have to
Speaking of
blast it.
Bloodforge, getting a similar change on the other side of the coin here. Getting an update here as well with its active effect.
So Bloodbound book became active and also got this new cooldown reduction.
Yeah, they must have given it the
that is
Bloodforge.
And Bloodforge Blade is also
So
getting the
technically,
same cooldown
Pentas
reduction.
could be easier with
Now,
this
as much
because
as
your
we-
shield
like,
could
there's a
come back
couple
up.
Interesting, deeper design elements we could get into here. One is like symmetry between strength and int items, which generally we try to avoid.
Yep.
However, these items are a unique exception right now, where they are essentially the sort of Aegis for Smite 2. So we wanted these to be available to a wide array of classes.
Not if
and
it'll
roles
go on
without
50% every time.
any
Like you get
major
one kill,
downside.
goes to 70.
We also
Get another kill, goes to 35. Get another kill, goes to
iterate
fucking
on the
18.
Aegis formula. In general, Aegis is like extremely all or nothing, right? It's not super exciting anymore. Many people think of it as kind of like a necessary evil, but that doesn't mean it can't be improved upon. It can't be adjusted. It can't be made more exciting. So what's cooler than Aegis is Shield, which is effectively an Aegis but with the cap, and that you can fight through instead of just having to juke and stand there, which we think is just already a cool play for skill expression. And then additionally, we added this new clause that rewards you for getting kills while this ability is on cooldown. So using it to turn a fight and then secure that kill, which is like probably the most fun way we
What's
like to use
cooler
the
than
MMO testing
Aegis
to get
shields?
high skill level players use it.
Oh,
is going to
fuck.
immediately benefit you towards the item's next use. Whereas just fleeing and spamming it as you run away to survive, you're going to have to get back to base, heal up, and get back in the fight and get another kill if you actually want to earn that cooldown. And it's 50% of the cooldown's current amount. So if it's almost off cooldown, getting a kill is not going to really make that big of a difference,
Right.
But if you
It's in that
kill
play
someone
moment.
right after you use it, you cut that cooldown literally in half. So just, I think, a really cool example of a lot of the cool stuff we can do in the new game.
The
And
movement
overall,
speed
just,
items
I
are
think,
still the same
exciting
items. They're OP.
games.
Didn't we have another item rework here in the lifesteal vein? That I'm pretty
maybe.
sure was an AWE2?
Did I forget one?
I just want to make sure that I'm not going crazy, but we can. Did we not mess
You
around?
can pull up patch notes on the site. We may have missed one.
There might have been some on the patch notes.
Can I just say just in case? Because I'm pretty sure didn't we give the Reaper a glow up? I'm pretty sure that was an AWE2. Around the same time,
We definitely talked about it. I don't know if we.
it's in the game.
settled on
And I'm
it.
pretty
It is
sure
in the game?
It's in the game. We've been play testing with it. I'm pretty darn sure it's an AWE2.
Yeah,
I
let's
might
see
have just
what
forgot
Pon's
to put
got
that on
back
the patch
there.
notes.
Right.
You're
yeah.
on dev for AWE.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm on AW3.
So it'll be there for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
Yeah,
then.
I do believe we did get this in
It's
for
on the
AW2.
Yeah, I'm looking at the two items list at least.
Is there
It's-
any
it's in there.
other?
That's the main one that I can remember at least. And the idea between the Reaper, I mean, it's not too crazy. It's a little bit of a glow up. So if it is there, and I'm hoping it is,
You can tell we're working really fast.
Yeah,
and
I know,
exactly.
right?
It's hard to know which one's in which build.
we just wanted to play up and make the Reaper even more interesting because we're talking about these different lifesteal options. Like, okay, well, we have Typhons, right? We have the Bloodforge changes, and it's like, well, what can we do with the Reaper? So the idea there is we want to kind of lean in to that like kill people playstyle. So it's now the threshold is going to be lower. I think at like 30%, and you gain strength and lifesteal on the trigger for when they are below 30% when you're hitting them. But the more you kill, you get stacking.
Oh,
permanent
yeah,
buff,
Reaper
which is
was
actually
nuts.
only the second of its
Oh, yeah.
kind, because Necronomicon is the only other one that you can actually permanently lose those stacks. But these ones you keep, and the more you gain stacks, the more that threshold increases. So it goes from 30% to 40% before you can actually get that buff, and then the actual buff effects also increase with that threshold, stacking to 3 times. So the more you gain kills, the more the item actually just becomes better and better.
Cool. Yeah, I think Pon has it pulled up in game if we want to.
Yeah, if you want to hop over and just look at it real quick, you can see the effect here. And as Clumsy described, yep, it's the threshold was lowered, but now as you get kills, that threshold will
Wait, is this
permanently
not-
increase,
isn't this what
which
it
will
was?
Trigger the bonus strength for you.
Wait,
and
why is it at
and the trigger
57
will also get
strength?
stronger.
Yeah.
So buy this early, get a few kills, and you will have a very powerful item at your disposal.
It's so different. Like from Smite, we would
I
we
thought this was
would have a
exactly what it
brainstorm
was
about
last
what we want to
time.
do with some items, and then you have to wait like months until you're able to like see that happening. And now it's like we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, you know, or
Wait,
like
yeah.
right before Branch.
Why would you go
and
Typhons
it's
over
just, like,
this?
it might, you know, it might be in for Alpha Weekend too. It's like I'm thinking like, no, we had that conversation like a month ago. No way that's in, but like it was probably in the next day or something like that if someone had time, which is so different.
It does look like Sorry, Isaiah, if we missed a couple.
And not to catch you guys off guard either.
No,
I
we
just wanted
missed
to
a
make
couple.
sure.
We did miss a couple more because there's a couple nerf/reworks that are also not on the current run of show.
Okay, cool.
Definitely one of which we're going to
No,
want to
they're
talk
on the
about.
patch note show.
They're on the patch notes.
Okay, sweet.
I'm
Patch
looking
notes
at
on
the
the site,
notes.
yeah.
On the
But
patch
even just there's a couple. So let's go to the next item and then I'll read off a couple from patch notes and we'll just talk about them high level.
Well, why would you ever go
let's do
this
it.
over
So, right,
Typhons?
One more to look at.
Helm
on
of
the official
Darkness.
rework section.
Yes. Helm of Darkness
It doesn't
is our
make sense
last
on
one
anybody.
for
This is just a better
official
item.
Item reworks here. What's going on with Helm of Darkness?
Yeah, Helm of Darkness, you know, we talked a little bit about Sphere of Negation and how that is the item that makes the most sense for we needed a intelligence plus magical defense item, but people who are really into Alpha Weekend 1 might remember that Helm of Darkness was the intelligence and magical protection item, but the effect and the stats didn't really coexist very well. You know, that effect
another
is what
hybrid
you want
item.
on someone who's going to try and flank.
And this
you
is
know,
a
get into the
nerf.
back
It
line,
has
whether it
90
be,
int.
and Athena
Why does it
trying
have
to get a
90
really nice
int?
taunt out of nowhere. Or
It has more
Anubis
int than
trying
that
to
other
play an
fucking new
assassin
item they just added.
Type play style.
That had 80.
That stat spread didn't really facilitate the idea of that passive. So made Sphere of Negation stat stick that could be a little bit more effective, and you're not being diluted by the passive as we talked about. And now you have Helm of Darkness with a higher intelligence and some physical protection in order to more clearly identify, like, hey, you want to play Zeus and sneak in right in between their mid and ADC and chain lightning storm on top of their head, you'll be able to get rewarded for it better with Helm of Darkness now.
Reminder for the active effect, it is you stealth.
Yeah, it's just stuff.
Anyone can stealth.
Yeah.
There was a lot of support players were loving this item too.
Yep.
So,
What?
We couldn't really give it too much.
Nobody was building this
But
item.
It made sense. To
We
split
were
this
all
out
going the
into
other
a
Helm,
true,
Helm of
like,
Radiance.
the tank and magical, the int and magical protections versus this little splash.
Yep.
And even the supports, like the aggressive nature of it, right? Because they're already buying a lot of dedicated tanking items.
90
that
ends
having
is
this
crazy.
additional like splash magical tank wasn't that useful to them.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be even more useful for them too.
And this is luxury priced as well, so this is going to be expensive. But what you're getting is a expensive luxury effect.
Yeah, you're getting to stealth Anubis,
I can't
man.
wait
Like,
to see some plays with this item. Like it is so dope.
the first time I got stealth Anubis on, I literally jump scared. Like I was like, oh my god, like what just happened? Like
man.
it is terrifying for sure.
Cool. Well, AJ, I know you have patch notes pulled
Yes.
up, and I know Helm of Radiance is getting a change. Do we want to talk about that one while we're talking about the helms?
I'll throw that up there because they are, a thematic pair.
Yep.
Helm of Darkness is based on Hades' Helm of Invisibility.
Yep.
Helm of Radiance is based on the Roman solar crown you see in a lot of art and sun gods. Helm of Darkness is the more aggressive version with the stealth. Of course, that's what Hades' helm and lore gives you. It's like the most lore accurate item in the game,
Right.
I'd say. Helm of Radiance is the stacking protections one. So Darkness more damage, Radiance more protections. Radiance is just getting a simple nerf. I did just want to pontificate about the themes there. And both of them have new art in the
Yeah,
album too.
they look sick.
But Helm of Radiance is just a nerf, decreased physical protection per stack from 10 to 5 on the passive. It was just giving you an absurd amount of protections. I
still
saw a lot of
giving
people
you,
saying,
like,
just buy this item
80
on everyone.
prots. Yeah,
it's
you-
the most stat efficient.
Unless
physical
power is
protection
base
item in the
power
game,
is
et cetera,
that
et cetera, et
nerf.
cetera. So just a big cut down.
I'm
on
pretty
protection.
sure you're still gonna go hybrid
Let's see,
everything.
A couple other items that we didn't get into are Polynomicon buff.
Right, you're right. How did we forget about that one?
Yeah,
It's on the patch notes.
It's on the
just
patch
me-
notes.
Poly's
I
definitely
was like,
better.
me and Agger, I was
Poly's
like,
better.
I know.
Specifically, why did you forget
Yeah,
about
right.
this?
This is a sketchy patch notes. I'm be honest.
Not my fault.
Me and Isaiah must have missed it copy pasting some
get
rows
Poly
over.
on Zeus?
But
No.
this is just a damage increase the passive damage intelligence scaling from 30% to 50%. Now this our Smite 2 poly has no cooldown,
Yes.
so that's why the damage is lower. You can just use it, auto attack cancel through your whole kit to trigger it multiple times. We know that people still are interested in the burst poly, but we're like, there's a lot of fun and flexibility.
Poly
for
is
this one.
still
So we're
is
trying
going to be
find the right
better than
damage
it
amount.
currently is on live for gods
no
with more than
cooldown,
one
but we
ability.
will be looking into potentially adding a
Like
cooldown back
Soul
to the
might
same
go
damage.
crazy
Let us know
with
what you
Poly.
guys prefer. What this feels like.
One walk up and auto into a 2-throw into an auto.
Bagua Mirror. Same deal. Just was given too much stats.
That item was always
My
real.
2 doesn't have a
Those guys-
release
Yeah.
date, but you'll be able to play it
Decrease
Thursday,
the
Friday,
base
Saturday,
engine
tomorrow.
strength on the passive
Friday and
from 10 to
Saturday.
5. So a smaller shave. Then Helm of Radiance got a big nerf. This is a smaller nerf. Like,
Oh,
Tanks got a
Kukulkan
lot of,
sucked in the alpha.
adjustment because of their performance, so we didn't want to just kill this item.
Right.
It's still like the premier magical protection item.
No,
And we like
tanky
to
gods
have
are
some
still going to be able to
aggressive
go
bursts,
hybrid, bro.
Just a little nerf.
100%.
There. And the last one, which is
Because
a really big
pen,
one, that we
like
need to
they
talk
made
about
pen
for
more
sure,
accessible
is
with this patch, I think, but
Kinsblade
it's not
nerf
good.
shift.
Yes.
So
And they
this
nerfed
was,
Kins.
by most accounts, the absolute strongest item in the entire game.
Oh, Kugu was
besides
trash.
Many people saying
Kugu
just
was like
buy
one of the
this
worst
item.
gods in the game.
It's just too good.
Yep.
It was really good because we wanted to make sure its counter effect was really strong. So it actually had relatively low stats, but it had a really strong passive. All those things added together, it was still just way too strong. But we're kind of doubling down on that philosophy and making it a really, really strong counter item now. So it's going to get increased.
CERN was good, but I think
basic
Neath was the
attack
best
damage
god
delta
in that
guys
last
is gonna do
patch,
20
or
base
that last
damage plus
alpha.
10%.
Neath
of their
was
max
so
HP,
fluid,
but
doing so
only
much
of
damage.
HP from items.
Right.
CERN pen
So
shred
this
though.
is not going to be just a good item to buy against everyone anymore. You will, but it will be better and better the more health a target is building. So it's like really specific counter item, which probably will take some getting used to. I expect a lot of people will just kind of throw this in every build and be a little like puzzled if it's not working against enemy squishies. But like we've always been looking for a way to make this item not just the best against everyone. So we're really
talking
pushing
about
that
Kins,
in this
right?
match.
Kins might be kind of poo poo.
What? Does that wrap it up for items, AJ?
There is one more little disclaimer, which is like virtually every item in the game got adjusted to some amount.
Yep.
There might have been some other functional adjustments that we made.
I think they buffed
Because we're
the
just
Soul Reaver
hauling
of the
ass
game.
on
I
that
forget
game.
Soul.
We're gonna do it. We did it
Soul
once.
something.
That is
We're
the,
gonna
that
do
is
it
the
again.
technical term as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
Moving fast.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out. You content creators calling out any other important, stat or cost shifts you see. Some good opportunities out there to discuss the game, but overall, just a lot of new items for Alpha 2.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps it up for our
Yeah,
item
Soul Dev
discussion.
is
We got
busted,
another
bro.
big one
I think
coming
Soul
up
Dev is
here.
OP.
Talking about Conquest. You mentioned earlier at the top of the show, what we noticed in Alpha Weekend 1. Games were running a little bit on the longer
I think you're gonna go
side of
Soul Dev
things,
on
so
every god.
We're making some changes to Conquest to kind of address
On,
and,
like, every
and
Guardian.
help with the overall.
Maybe every god in
map
general.
pacing.
Fuck.
AJ, you want to kick us off with our primary goals for what we're changing?
Yeah, so check the patch notes for the more detailed information, but the gist of it is objectives are going to be easier to kill. So that's Gold Fury, Fire Giant.
They made Fire have
they're gonna be
like
easier to kill.
2,000 less HP.
Better ways of getting early game.
Like, it's
advantage
way
from
easier to
heroes.
do.
We're going to decrease the amount of gold that you get from breaking down towers and getting those new tower pickups, which are super fun to pick up, but they were just giving it a lot of gold.
Yes.
So there is actually no structure changes in this patch. We did just mostly economy and objectives. So easier to kill Gold Fury Fire Giant, less gold from towers, more gold from lane minions and jungle camps.
Yes.
So really what we expect here is
Most of our
a lot more
matches that
individual
were good
agency
matches went
on
really long. If
pressing your
they were
advantage
balanced
through map
matches, they'd go
control.
like 40 minutes.
Invading jungles is going to get even more valuable here, as those are going to be worth more. Pushing your opponents out of lane, pushing lanes into towers. so they get
Jungling,
less
I
gold
think,
there,
still sucks dick in this
stealing those
game.
objectives and killing them earlier. I think they're easier to kill.
Yeah,
So you
dude.
should be able to
They,
take them
I
even
don't know
early
what's
and
up with
stick
Hi-Rez like up their ass the last couple of
And
years,
then
but
there
they
was also
don't
some
want
important
jungle to
changes
be
the
strong.
way experience was being awarded
In
from
any game.
kills. Some combination of bug fix and balance change there.
It definitely feels like one of the least rewarding
Some
roles to
combination of
play.
bug fixes and balance change there, but overall we expect the gold amount over time to change and experience gained from fighting to change in this patch. So there's gonna be some big economic.
wanna go
game-wide
back to
shifts. We're
laning,
gonna
bro.
see a
Fuck
lot of
that.
shifts taking place in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll do it, but fuck that.
Yeah, I'm just like between these changes, the item changes, the god-wide changes coming
yeah.
up. Yeah, there's a
Good
lot
news
to-
for fans of change.
I know,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Plenty of it.
Lots to experiment with in Smite 2 this weekend for sure. But yeah, let's move on to gods
right
here.
into them.
And Pon kind of touched on it earlier, but we are doing a base strength nerf for all gods.
Yeah, I
In
wonder how
differing
significant
amounts.
this will be.
Yep.
So, and this also included some ability like counter adjustments as well.
Yeah, so because everyone gets strength as their in-hand damage that they actually deal from their base god leveling up.
What's up, Mel?
Gods that use strength for scaling means that if we just took away strength from their per level stats that they get, they're essentially getting a nerf to their ability kit as well. And so in some cases we counter adjusted, gave them some more scaling to make up for that. We increased base damages to make up for that, or we didn't make an adjustment, and that's essentially us saying we're nerfing this character.
Now all of those adjustments and counter adjustments are not fully listed on
Yes.
the patch notes. It's just a lot to write out. So we were gonna call out though. We have a whole additional set of buffs and nerfs on top of that.
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So we can get into that. You can start listing them off. On her, we're going to go in alphabetical order. On her is going to be giving
Huzzah!
nerfs to,
Thank you, man.
Desert Fury.
Yeah, the
back.
projectile range in particular. So this was one of the features that he gained in Smite 2 was that his ultimate was
His
now
range was
longer
pretty
range than his-
long
than his
range.
base attack projectiles.
That's a big
And
nerf.
that plus, the bigger final hit, plus the buffs to shifting sands, the On her got a lot. And we thought that this was maybe the thing that pushed him a little bit too far over the edge. That increased range that on a projectile that pierces targets and walls that is easier for him to hit on that final projectile was just a little bit too much. So
Yeah.
now that range that
They
On her gets
are
should be a little bit less.
Doing the opposite of what everyone always
more like
wants.
Smite
Yeah.
Like
if
Double
you're,
J
if
just
you're
said,
familiar with
they're
with
nerfing a lot,
what
but not
100
buffing
feet would
bad
be
shit.
in Smite, or 100 units in Smite 1, 16 would be the equivalent. So it's literally almost double basic attack range is what it was. So it was very, very, very long.
Yeah.
It should now better match Smite 1 because we feel like that's reasonable for range and counterplay and hearing the ultimate going off. It was just, he could just absolutely hit you from completely far away and you didn't really feel like you could engage with him.
Yeah, and this is still longer than the basic attack range.
Yeah.
On her
Yes.
was, I think, the winningest god of the alpha test.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Like,
That would
chin
That's
size,
why there's a
strength.
big nerf here.
It's because
Yeah.
Kins is busted.
The other thing discussed was his protection.
Kins is
shred on his
OP
passive,
before this
which
nerf.
is definitely something we're going to keep an eye on. We at this point we kind of like how it's his unique thing that he brings as a hunter, but it is in a relatively scary amount and that might need to get further adjustment. But we're going to see how this affects him first.
All right. Next up is Bologna. Scourge going to be seeing a nerf here in Alpha Weekend 2.
Yep, just a tiny increase in cooldown. Bologna has been pretty strong on that solo lane, but we don't want it to go too crazy. You know, we're talking about the strength level changes, talking about the hybrid item level changes. Just tiny 1 second cooldown. This is almost like a Smite 1 simple nerf here, just a little slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I
Slap
believe
on the wrist, yeah.
I believe she was also not really adjusted in any strength scaling, so I think she would essentially receive a nerf in that.
Exactly.
Yeah, this character was very strong.
Yep.
All right, next up, we're
I
moving
think
on
8
to
p.m.
buffs
tomorrow
now.
is when you can play the alpha.
Anubis up first. AJ, you want to take Goobus?
Of course, why not? So he's going to have a decreased cooldown on Plague of Locusts and increased base damage on Grasping Hands. People just felt like he felt a little underwhelming. He was very popular still. A lot of people wanted to try him
It's
out.
a
and I feel
rank
really
1
excited to
nerf
see how
of
he plays
hands,
in the
but
game.
an overall
And
buff.
I think he
barely.
played well. We saw a lot of good hit flow. It was really just like adjusting a little bit of damage. The cooldown wasn't quite low enough to.
I wonder if they hit the feel of any abilities, because
Plague
if
of
they
Locusts,
didn't, that's going to be a
High Risk
problem.
Pay off. Grasping Hands, like people get out of it a lot. So
Like
it's increasing
Anubis'
their base damage a little bit,
stun
helping his
felt
nature a little bit can
bad.
help a lot.
Kukulkan's one
And
felt
of course, the addition of
bad.
Typhon's Fang and some
Oh,
of
yeah.
the new int items are going to
Honestly, even Honors 2 felt
but-
bad.
Anubis, beloved character, but needed a little help.
Yeah.
A little love in Smite too. All right, moving on. We got Bacchus up next. Going to be seeing Belly Flap getting a buff here, increasing the damage a little bit.
Yeah, from the strength scaling in particular.
want
So
one-shot
this is,
crit
a
Bacchus
build
to be
that
a
I know
thing, I
Con and
guess?
I have both loved a lot. Is like solo lane Bacchus, where you're building some amount of strength, some amount of int, mostly just a lot of protections and health though, and it's a really, really fun build, and just making sure that it feels a little bit more impactful, because it can be very strong. It just takes a little bit too long to get online. So this should make it feel more impactful.
Awesome. All right, moving on. Kerninos on the duo side of the map. Going to be seeing a buff here to a couple abilities. Bramble Blast and the Wild Hunt. Both getting some buffs here.
The main thing was just Bramble Blast as an ability. Its scaling was really, really like low, and there's some initial damage adjustments as well that are on here. But it just was a low damaging ability, and so we're bringing it up some to help make sure that it fits more in line with other abilities, because you're not really going to have most characters be in it for a very long time. So just adjustments there, and then the Wild Hunt, the slow, just give more control to the team fight when you actually cast that onto a team fight.
All right.
You got to be careful with this god. We know he can
Yep.
run away with it.
Yep.
So true. Yeah.
Baby steps.
All right. Next up, Chalk. Going to be seeing a buff on the passive. This one's a cool one.
Yeah, this is a quality of life.
Oh, yeah,
increase,
this
kind
was
of
a
the way
shit.
we
His
always
passive
wanted
was
to.
ass.
It should
The
have
way
been.
it should have been, the way
Yeah,
we intended
there
to.
we
Just
go.
the way we're prototyping things, getting things in for
I
everyone.
forgot who
Because the tech
found
wasn't
this
there
when we
yet.
were playing. It was like
There
Bobby
you
or
go,
Double
the
J.
tech point literally wasn't there. So
Every now and then we are restricted by that.
It was so
now the
weird.
abilities, they're not refunding the mana; they always just cost no mana.
So with Chalk,
Easy and simple.
if with a
enough.
passive it's supposed to make your ability cost no
who's next up
mana,
on the
if you
back
didn't
list?
have the
Loki
mana to
is
cast
up
it,
next.
you couldn't
Loki
cast
getting a
it
buff
because you
here.
had to cast it to get the mana
Vanish and
back.
Assassinate, seeing a little bit of love.
Pretty substantial scaling damage buff here.
That's
Yep.
per tick. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's partially to offset the strength nerf that he was receiving, but also just
Did they
to buff it
change
in its
Vanish,
own
by the
right.
way?
Right.
Because I could have
Talking
sworn
about-
Vanish
yeah, we
wasn't a
Didn't
dot in
have
Smite
the
2.
cripple CC.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
didn't. The CC as a concept didn't exist in
Yeah.
the last alpha.
I
So
think-
now we added it back.
I think this one might have even said it crippled because we're getting ready for it in Alpha.
Yeah,
1,
assassinate
doing that
cripples
effect.
for
Well, now it's
0.75
I took that
seconds.
out of the text for Alpha 1, but like people were
So
still
the Vanish
wondering
is now
why
a
it was
dot
good.
again.
And it was just
Is what they're saying.
Not
No, it
really.
wasn't a
So,
dot at first.
Loki
It was a
did
burst of
seem like
damage.
he needed some buffs a little bit at least. Anyway, make sure he could still burst people down. I think you really have to play super evasive tactics Loki right now
Yep.
to do the best, which is good.
It
You don't just
100%
run him
was
free
not a
one-shotting
dot.
people.
So we're going Loki with Helm of Darkness, just double invis.
I mean,
Double stealth.
sure.
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
he doesn't get much up from the int from it.
No, but it
Am I
still could be
almost
fun.
done?
Your
It
damage
scales his
debuff.
debuff, yeah.
Yeah, on the 2.
Um,
I've been cooking a little int
Okay.
Loki build in my head a little
Yeah.
bit.
with Paul.
It's not going to be good.
No,
It's gonna
we've
be
run it.
explicitly bad. Actually,
It's
trash.
funny because if you go play Smite 1 and build tank Loki, people will focus you because I think they're just so ingrained to focus
Yeah.
Loki that you're
Yeah.
actually an effective tank.
that is true. That is
It's
true.
really funny.
Bruiser,
kind of like
I've
an
tried a lot of
inherent top.
Bruiser Loki and Smite too as well. It could work.
Yeah.
It could work.
it could.
But yeah, some buffs for this guy.
Yeah. Staying in the Norse realms, Odin going to be getting a buff to Gungnir's Might.
This is a fun story.
Tell us, AJ. Tell us the
So
story.
we made Smite 2 Odin, and then Smite 1 changed Smite 1 Odin after we had made Smite 2 Odin. And you know there was communication and discussion on that, and there was a lot of those effects were transferred over. But the timing one, I mean, should have been more obvious to us. Like people only had to play with the faster timings for like a day before they were like, "What the hell is wrong with this ability? It was just, it was using the old timing. So we sped this up to use the current Smite 1 reworked buffed.
That's a good change.
That people are expecting.
I was worried they would try to keep it like old, and
Last
which
up
was
for
trash.
just overall god balance, and I feel like I have to throw to aggro.
Yeah.
It's Zeus getting a buff here. What's happening with Zeus?
Yeah, Zeus felt really good. I thought he was one of the more interesting topics of discussion from Alpha Weekend 1 because when we talked about his new AO2, everyone was like, oh, he's going to be terrible. He doesn't have a chain lightning target, all that kind of stuff. And then slowly, like, Thursday night, it was like, yeah, Zeus is definitely worse. Then Friday, it was like, yeah, he's not that bad. And then Saturday, it was like, yo, Zeus is OP now, man. Like, I thought that kind of transformation was funny, but we still felt like his int build was a little bit underwhelming, specifically on the ultimate. So just giving that a little bit of scaling. And the real buff here is Staff of Mirrodin being added. Because
Double detonate.
Yeah, you don't remove detonate charges anymore whenever you 3. So you get to you get to have some fun.
Why'd you tell the entire internet?
Because I'm going to do it to someone, and I don't want them to report me for it.
It is important to mention that Aggro did say like int Zeus.
Yes.
The in-hand Zeus was very, very powerful.
Yes.
He's essentially getting double hit by that strength adjustment because his passive augments your in-hand damage, and so it's augmenting the nerf from the strength removal. So
Right.
So adjustments
Zeus
there.
was really strong.
Yes, Strength Zeus was quite good.
I was playing some Smite 1 Zeus the other day, and not having that stun made me really sad.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, I've got this training wheel for my 2. It's so lame. It takes all the excitement out of my character. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Oh man! All right, well let's talk about new gods in Alpha Weekend 2. We've already spoiled them a little bit. Soul and Hades being added to Alpha
one
Weekend
else?
2 here. So first of all,
No sneak
why Soul and
assassin?
Hades? What's going on?
So I talked about this a little bit on the Insight show last show, but there's a lot of different parts and pieces to the formula that helps us.
Yeah,
decide
Thor not being
which
in the game
gods
is blowing
are gonna
my
be
fucking
used in
mind.
Smite 2. It's not an easy decision. It's not an easy process.
Ass.
There
Yeah,
are
because they don't want
pivots
assassins to be
as we
good.
go sometimes based on
Where's
how
Hecate?
certain characters' new tech.
And people played the Morrigan in the
new
last test on
art
accident. Where's the
comes
Morrigan?
in. We are doing a lot of shifting. We're working on a lot of gods at once, very rapidly. So, at some cases, it might seem like there's like a perfect pattern to it, and in other cases, it might be unique. It might be a little puzzling. We like the fact that there's not like a strict repetitive pattern that tends to get really boring. So we're gonna try to.
I have a feeling they don't want to put global ults in the game
A
yet.
lot of people were discussing about like
They already
more
have
magical
Neath,
gods.
so,
All
like,
of a sudden.
I don't know.
It's just like
It's not a true global.
surprise.
Why not?
Like, it is a true global, but it's not a.
These two are also just super popular and
Team
also
fight
bring some more
disruptor.
unique archetypes. I think like Soul being the first like true magical ADC. We kind of moved Zeus towards that, but like Soul already was that, and Strength Soul is gonna pop off.
Yep.
And then Hades
Yeah,
is
why
like super
2
flexible
mages
character,
here and like shit
that
mages?
can do a lot of different things.
No fun shit mages.
And we were just really excited to. We'll talk about it more when we show.
Yeah, let's go in game. Let's
New
check
features
out
of these
Soul
gods, but
first.
We felt
Yeah.
like Hades just had some really awesome design potential. So
Wait one second while they show this.
So,
'cause this is
so
not-
really quick to kind of go over the main features for Soul. Obviously, with strength in the game now, she can use that to build crit. She can use that to augment her basic attack. So if she wants to really focus on that playstyle, she can. And we did a few key changes to her kit to try and support that better. So, for example, her passive actually gives her strength as well as intelligence, where before in Smite 1 it just gave magical power. So her passive will augment your hands very directly. The second thing was we added some extra ways to generate heat, most notably the ultimate. The big thing there is now your ultimate, as you hit targets, will give heat. So your ultimate in a pure in-hand build where you're building a lot of strength might feel underwhelming in the sense of like raw damage, but still a lot of good control, and it can immediately put you to full heat, so you can just start wailing with your auto attacks. So it's a really powerful tool that way.
Nice.
For the more int-focused side of things, we want to make sure that she's a magical carry, but she also is a AoE mage. She has a lot of AoE abilities, and so we wanted to highlight that for when you go that int playstyle. So the first major noticeable change is you have your 1, and it gives you a ton of heat, it heals you, and it does damage in AoE. But when you're at full heat, it doesn't necessarily have as much use case anymore because it's mainly a builder, but now it is a giant area.
Holy
so this scales
shit!
linearly.
That's a
with
big
the
old
heat you
circle.
currently have.
Correct.
That's a big old
the more heat
circle.
you have, the bigger your AO1 is.
Wait,
And you can see if I
That's
cast
crazy.
it once here, it's the size. If I cast it twice, that size.
Holy
and then full size is
fuck.
a little bit bigger than that because that's the full strength.
Wait,
And you
that's
can even see the
busted.
targeter, it will dynamically adjust. I got to work on this. I'm just gonna.
I
show
know. I read that it was bigger. I didn't know it was that much bigger.
That up in real time.
How did you do
cool.
that? That is insane.
Insane. So your one has extra use cases. You can drop this in the middle of a team fight and cover a wide area and threaten people to essentially get out of that area because
How much does it actually tick
people
for?
inside of it. It's just really hard to when it was this size before. Your 3 also has some new spline tech going on with it. So the trail
one is like a wave clear now.
Spline.
Nice.
And you can see that explosion effect. It's there in Smite 1. It used to do damage in Smite 1 when it exploded. We brought that back. So now if people are on the trail, it explodes. And it explodes in a relatively large area. So if people are trying to chase you, they have to respect the trail a bit more now.
No stun though from Smite.
No stun.
Smite.
Zeus already cashed in our bringing stuff
Right?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he deserved it more, Soul players. I don't want to hear it.
And you can see there, using my ultimate, I immediately
Ult's
got
a
the
little
full
more
heat hitting the
smooth.
targets there. The ultimate works very similarly. It has the same type of paint targeter. Hint as to why we might wanted to do Soul and bring Soul in the game is we have a new targeter type we had to support. But yeah, so that's all the major Soul changes. If
Did
you wanna
they
play that
change the
Int
camera
mage
angle?
style, you have that available to you with
Hold on.
that extra AoE from your 1 and the explosion of your 3. Or if you want to play that in-hand style, that carry style, you can play that as pure intelligence and you will do quite a bit of damage. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can start throwing in Deathbringer. You can start throwing high strength items in there. You could go like a strength CDR and splash like 2 CDR builds. So you're just throwing abilities all over the place. A lot of flexibility here. Soul was a really popular character, really successful character. Doesn't have as many changes as we've had on some other characters, but I think these changes are going to go really well for her playstyle and really supporting the things that she's going to want to do in Smite 2.
Yeah,
Being able to pressure down those towers so quickly. I mean, even though we nerfed the gold from them a little bit, they still give a lot of gold. And she is the premier tier 1 tower annihilator, right?
Yep.
Are we
Get any
still
lane
at a
lead,
higher
she'll be able
camera
to shred
angle?
that down, get that early game lead, really try to convert that into a lot of pressure across the map.
Yeah, I think she's one of the characters that
I'm pretty sure we're
benefits
still
from
at a
the-
higher
the
camera angle.
Item store changes the most, and I don't think I have any idea what her best
I don't
build
understand
truly
it.
is, and that's like fun and exciting to me. Who knows?
There's a couple other notes about Soul we should
Yeah.
touch on before we move on.
Yeah, so just a few things. We had our flash test, and some people.
Her
gave
abilities
feedback
are
about
actually
Soul.
kinda
Obviously,
cracked.
Alpha things are work in progress at times. One thing that we especially noticed is
she-
the hair.
everything is
Her hair
more
and her character
tangible,
model have
like,
a
you can
lot of
see
different treatments
what's
going along
happening.
with it. Supporting this type of
Like, her
character.
3 is a fucking fire on the ground explosion.
And we know that we have some things that we still want to be doing to different aspects of her character model. So be on the lookout for those as we go forward. It doesn't mean we're necessarily done here, but we do see that feedback. And of course, as we go into the Alpha Weekend, give us your feedback. Don't assume anything is final or is temporary. Just give us the feedback as you see it, as you feel it, as you're playing out the game, and then we'll take that and obviously adjust accordingly.
I'm watching chat here, so some quick clarifications is that yes, we are recommending you try full strength and crit Soul, but that will still deal all magical damage.
Correct.
Yes.
All of her abilities deal magical damage.
We're just
Those
basic
things are
steel
not tied. And then we have, for additional clarity, if you can demo for me, the new basic attack tooltip section. If you use Alt to hover next to your god avatar, you can see right there that it will deal magical damage. You can see the magical symbol, and you can get a description on the scaling, the damage dealt, the heat, and the projectile rules.
Very cool.
Correct.
So then if you also look over the rest of her kit, you'll see that does magic damage as well. But I mean, the basic attacks is one that I understand that it's taking people some time to get used to.
Yeah.
So that little symbol down there will be for every god to help you remember what type of basic attack, help you learn what type of basic attack damage they're doing. And it'll clarify some of the melee and projectile rules that you might not even know after playing Smite 1 for a long time.
Yeah, it's just funny because you're absolutely right. You know, we almost get ahead of ourselves. Soul will still deal well and good, perform well with an in-hand magical ability build, whatever you may want to do if you want to scale with intelligence. But we just like talking about the strength stuff and crit because that's the new exciting stuff that you're really going to play with and the difference between Smite 1 and Smite 2.
I
If
still
you
don't
wanna
like
go
the
in-style
crit
build, if you want to build her like a true
number
ability damage
visual.
mage, you absolutely can do that.
Build magical protections against her, regardless of her build.
And I was gonna say it's gonna be a little weird to build crit items and then not executioner, but you don't want executioner because that gives you physical penetration. You still want to buy a magical penetration item, and you're still getting benefit from that intelligence that you're getting on it. But 5 strength items and a magical penetration item is going to look odd at first, but
Plus, that was a splash of int even in the full strength builds feels
Very
really
good.
good just to
Handed
take
to
up her
Abyss.
abilities a little bit more. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're still contributing to your basic attacks, so you still get scaling on that.
Honestly, I really actually want to like in the middle of like a giant gold fury fire giant fight. I want to go like a pure int and just go double one.
Yeah.
Because that, you're gonna just
My God, you
You're
would
gonna
cook
chunk.
them.
Yeah.
You would cook them. Or you could Staff of Mirrodin 3.
What's
they're
the
like,
one
"All right, we're
actually
gonna
hit
get her,"
for?
And then you just 3 again instantly.
We've seen a lot of mid soul over Smite 1's lifetime, like
Oh, yeah.
meta by far. So this character is really flexible in that regard, which is great for our goals in Smite 2.
Yep.
All right, the next one, Hades.
Soul gonna be a mid
King of the
laner.
Underworld, making his way to Smite 2, and he's got some spicy changes here.
Very exciting
I know.
gameplay change. One of our
Hades is
absolute
busted
favorites
now,
so
I
This
think.
one was wild.
Yeah.
Like I know when it was pitched and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
But it works so well for what the
Hybrid
god needs. It
Hades
has
is
the
gonna be
right level of
fucking
balance, like,
crazy.
knobs we can
Full
use to
damage
tune
Hades
it.
might also be crazy.
So
I do need to relaunch the game, but I can talk about it while I'm working.
Yeah.
on it.
okay.
So Hades has always kind of struggled between being like this burst character or this frontliner and was never really good at either. And we had to do a lot of things like give him like 200 protections in his ult so that he doesn't
Yeah,
immediately
so
die
his
because
ultimate,
he needs to be
every
able to
time you
build
do damage, it lowers the
pure magical
cooldown on
power
your
and be able to
abilities,
survive.
I
And we
think.
think that in Smite 2,
And then you
especially with a
also
lot of
can
characters,
use
they're looking
one
to
of
make
your
sure that
abilities
their
in your
kit
ultimate.
really gives you some insight into what they're supposed to be doing. And Hades' kit really
So, like,
does scream
technically,
this frontline character.
You
So we wanted to
could
support that in a
dash
few
ult,
different ways.
and then they could
Obviously,
jump
if you
out
wanna
of your
play
ult, and
first,
you could
can still
dash
try
them
that.
while
It's
still in
gonna
your
be
ult.
Good.
And then
But
they would
we are
still be in
leaning
your
more
ult.
into that style of
Without
he
ever
is a
losing
frontline
a lot-
mage. He's
really
the mage that
ult
you bring so you can
damage.
engage with your team and just start fighting.
Souls 1 is 110 at
So,
max, 30%
The first
scaling on
one
ints.
is going to be around his 3.
kinda
And if
low
you played
damage.
80s, you know the struggle of trying to heal your teammates with it. They will do everything in their power to not stand near it so that you can't get a heal on them. No more. Now what happens is when you detonate, it basically figures out how many detonates you're going to hit because it actually cascades and hits people based off their blight explosions. It figures that out, and then Hades heals himself for that immediately, but then shoots off a healing projectile to all nearby allies around himself, healing them for that amount. So now they just have to be around you.
What?
They don't have to be around your detonate target, which immediately frees up, makes it a lot easier for your
What's
team
the
to actually engage with
range?
this. They still might snipe your minions, unfortunately. Can't fix
Yeah,
that.
they made it
But
like
we can
Baron
make it so
heal,
that
but
you can
like,
heal your teammates more effectively.
what's
So
the range?
that immediately gives him a niche applicate, like for your team composition, gives him a really strong niche.
Yep.
Now, the bigger thing is his ultimate. Like I've mentioned before, it was kind of this ultimate that left you as almost like a sitting duck at some points. We want to give it some more control so you can decide what you want to do with it and really serve that frontline role when you bring it to your team. So his ultimate now, when you activate it, I do need to focus on actually getting into the game.
I want to see Pawn. Hurry, hurry.
Modest range of 1,000 units. Yeah. Okay.
The ultimate now lets you refire your 1, 2, or 3. It basically immediately resets the cooldown of it so you can use them. And then your 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, it
gets a
instantly
bonus
resets the
effect.
cooldown. Oh, fuck.
Your 1 will let you dash, like you use your 1, and restart your ultimate for a fixed duration at that location. So you ult, people try and escape. No, you're chasing after them. You're going to try and capture them again for a smaller window of time. Your 2,
Pretty good.
You could even blink this if you haven't damaged anybody.
Yeah, so basically, Hades is gonna be able to chase you
complete
when you leap out of his ult.
Instead of being
Or
embarrassed, you can
if
blink,
he's got
or
you
can
locked
use the
in,
one
he's
that
gonna be able to
fixes it.
3 twice, and you're gonna get fucked
You
up.
also have your 2, which is a giant silence cone. And it'll basically as a half area. So if you have people trapped there and you just want to keep them trapped there, keep them from fleeing, control the whole area, you can 2 to make sure they stay there. Or you can
this shit has a
detonate
lot
and
of potential
trigger
for
a
being
big
busted,
AoE in the whole
for sure.
ult radius that also triggers all the other effects of it. So it detonates targets. It also shoots out the healing, as mentioned before. So you have this essentially extra +1 that you get to bring directly to a team fight. If you catch a whole bunch of people in there, you can focus on damage, control, or repositioning, and that just is a lot of flexibility for this character.
He's nuts. he's really good. And he feels so much like I'm a longtime Hades mid lover. I love playing Hades mid. My support always shows up to my wave, even when they're not going to do anything, except when they need to get healed, and then they're going to run away from
It
me.
should be a game
It's
now.
so insane. Like the AO3 change feels incredible, and then when you get to chase an on her who leaps with your ult, you're like,
Oh my God.
this is unbelievable.
There we go.
So you can see here, I'm just going to showcase the main new aspects. The rest of Hades, the Blight interactions, the rules surrounding Blight interactions and consumption are all the same as Smite 1. The main changes are with the 3 and the ultimate.
Yeah, with staff, I mean,
So you can
technically
see
you could
here, if
dash
I
3
detonate,
times.
You can see the nice healing spirits fly and heal.
That's
those.
cool.
You can
That's
get
a good quality of life
visual
change.
touch-ups too.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's had a whole
tons.
VFX
He's a very
pass.
old god, and although we love his themes and his style, so the particle effects especially.
All right,
are
that
huge.
range
So
is
cool. Huge
pretty.
change.
Yeah. Just a really nice effect. And you can kind of get an idea of the range here with
Hades is much better.
And the
Much,
3
much
is
better.
significantly faster
Yes,
than it used to be.
Yes, the 3 is a lot faster. It was actually
Hades
kind
is
of wild
busted.
after we made the adjustment. I didn't think I took that much time
Hades
off. I went
OP.
back and played Smite 1 again. I was like, oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
really, really slow.
Everyone was playing,
All my
playing
damage
Hades, boys.
lovers
Hades
out there
jungle.
like me, this is big for us for sure.
And also to push him into that front line role, we've also lowered the cooldown of the 3, so it's a more consistent source of pressure and healing that you get to bring. So if you build tanky CDR with a little bit of int, it's a pretty effective build and just consistent pressure that you can bring to your team.
Yep.
Now to showcase the ult stuff, we got your ult. It does the things you expect. It vortexes targets, but you can see all my icons there turned that kind of different color. So if I ult and I won, we restart over here.
There we go.
I ult and we 2. You can see the target doesn't quite match. We're working on fixing that, but you can see that it covers. It has that big half circle.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah.
So you can immediately silence and fear that whole area. Or, of course, you can ult, and because everyone's blinded, you now detonate, and you heal your whole team for 240.
Oh, let's
Is this better than letting him dance in his ultimate?
We should still let him do that.
Yeah.
Get in the comments.
Yeah, and it has to cripple guys, right?
Right,
Like that's the classic.
I feel like we even just like went into the discussion like, what if Hades could move in his ult? And then we were just like, wait a second, he kind of can with his 1 now.
If hybrid builds are
It's,
OP, Hades is going to be the best god in the
really good.
game.
Yes.
He's very good.
Because if
Just the
he's not easy to
flexibility that
kill,
allows,
he's going to
someone who
ruin.
plays this
You're
for one of
just
the
going to
first
get
times,
casted
okay,
on
I need
8
to get to that
times.
team fight, but my 1 isn't up. So I'm actually going to ulti 2-1 to get closer, and then I got what is able to get a team fight in time. Like that feels good.
Yeah. By the way, Staff of Mirrodin. Yeah, you can cook 3 jumps.
Oh my god, that's true.
No, there is no
Mirrodin
one
one,
far
one,
enough
ulti
from you.
one.
No, you
Yep.
get a 1 and then a 1 and then an alt
Ulti
1.
one,
yeah.
Or can you get an alt 1 and an alt 1?
No, you can only do one Mirrodin 1, regular
They're
1.
separate ability
alt 1.
cooldowns, so it actually would work that way.
It would.
It wouldn't work. That
Weird.
way.
Okay.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, you can only get 4 too many guys. Come
know.
on, no
Yeah,
way
'cause
we could
we're
balance that.
Hidden specifically only works on your ability 1, 2, or 3. These are like special hidden hit
Yes.
secret abilities.
What
that are
about-
not tagged as
what about
ability
breastplate?
1?
They would affect your cooldowns that are behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Like in the same way that like Hell,
Yeah.
like if you had like Kronos Pet, it affects her other abilities
Okay.
behind, like their abilities being tracked behind the scenes.
Unless.
So yeah, look at his like leg area
Yeah,
wiggling
let us know if
around.
you find a way to double alt ability because we don't want
know,
that to
right?
happen.
or do.
It should unequip them literally, so it should be impossible. But
Let us
I've been
know.
wrong.
Should be. But yeah, Hades, super iconic god to Smite. So excited to have him back.
Yeah.
All right.
He's back and better than ever.
It's gonna be awesome.
A good example of being able to do like changes that were hard to do in Smite 1.
Yes,
Giving us a new context, a new ability to do these.
and he wiggles so
Yeah,
well.
he does.
He's the wiggle king.
The wiggle. Yeah, the cloth physics on full display here.
Whoa.
Potentially too much, but you know, that's something we're still working
All right, Pon, I'm getting nauseous, please.
Right? Yes.
It was skirt twirls. It's
Yeah,
great.
I saw that. It was cool.
on. Ballerina Hades
Oh,
skin
man.
coming up soon.
Sweet. Well, Soul and Hades headed to everyone.
Hades isn't a new
during our
god.
Alpha Weekend 2 starting tomorrow. And I believe that's just about all that we've got for the show today. But I do have a couple of reminders, so don't tune away just yet. Wanted to remind people first, most importantly, how does the Alpha Weekend work? How can you play? If you want guaranteed access to our second Alpha Weekend that kicks off tomorrow, be sure to purchase a Founders Edition. If you can't purchase the Founders Edition right now, be sure to register on our website or via Steam through the Steam playtest functionality. I've heard through the grapevine that we're going to be sending out a lot of invites this weekend, so be sure that
that'll be cool.
you're got your Founders Editions queued up. Servers are going to be available for 36 to 72 hours. We're going to kick off tentatively at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, unless Travis wants to crash and press the button early, so keep an eye on that. And I've heard that we're actually going to be extending the test. It's going to end Sunday at 8 p.m.
Oh,
So
shit.
a few more hours of Smite 2 action this weekend for who've got their cross-gen content that want to make sure that they've got it unlocked in Smite 2. Be sure that you've got your accounts linked in Smite 1 via the Divine Legacy page. That way you've got all your Smite 1 cross-gen skins available to you in Smite 2. And then last but not least, providing feedback and reporting bugs. Join our official
Hades is
Discord
actually going to be a
server,
really
Discord
fun god again, and he hasn't been fun
/Smite
in
game.
ever.
We've got a bunch of channels in there for you to find people to play with, but also for you to provide your feedback. Our bug report form is going to be linked in there as well. So if you run into any issues during Alpha Weekend 2, hit up that bug report form and let us know what issues you run into. But overall, we're just super excited for everyone to hop in.
I'm gonna
and
do
make their way into
a
Smite 2 during this
marathon
Alpha
weekend.
And we're looking forward to hearing what everyone thinks about all the updates.
with a
that are
bunch of
coming to
sub
the
goals
game.
and stuff.
We're just getting started.
We are just getting started.
We're
And-
just getting started.
Wait, what?
Oh, where did that come from? Hi, everyone. I'm Magic.
Hindu, what are you doing
The
here?
set got a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion, at least. Nice to see you all at home. Yeah, esports.
What do we got
gonna
going on with esports this
steal the weekend. This weekend, we have an esports tournament going on. If you don't realize, make sure if you signed up and you got access to Smite 2, you can play as part of this weekend. Make sure you join the official Smite 2 esports Discord, and you can use that QR code there to help you on the way, or just check out our social media. But yeah, we've got Smite 2 Alpha this weekend. We're actually going to do 2 tournaments, 1 NA and 1 EU. I am scared. How are you devs feeling about it?
Excited.
Yeah?
Go great.
I'm ready for invade meta. I'm ready for Mirrodin meta.
Yeah, we can
all
play,
the
right?
things.
I'm ready for some really weird team names as usual. That's what I'm looking for.
We have our GMs right?
But I will say the invade meta is definitely something I'm interested in too, because a lot of people have been talking about that.
I know, right? It's
Well,
gonna be.
I'm just interested to see what is actually going to win.
And to
You
be
know,
clear,
is it going to be pure skill, just the best players we know doing whatever they want? Is
I
it
don't
going to
know.
be some
Should be pure
niche
chaos.
strategy?
You know?
Yeah,
Is it
what-
going to be the same old 5-player comps that we saw from Smite 1?
I don't know.
It really could be
It's
anything.
gonna be interesting. I saw
Yeah, I
Solar
wanna
Trolls
play.
team Cowabunga. Like
Cowabunga.
that team looks insane.
definitely, definitely. I mean, on a paper, when you look at that team, you're like, oh man, for Smite 1, great. But can they do it in Smite 2?
I think we're going to see some team come out of nowhere and do really well.
That's
It
my
might not
expectation.
win
That's
at
how
all, but I think we're going to see at least some, just some hometown heroes show up.
But guys, I got more news for you.
Wait, what?
More news.
More?
More than that. We actually have some esports news for you today. We are prepared to announce where our first live LAN is going to be located. Should we do it?
Smite 2
Let's
LAN.
do it. Yeah.
Smite 2 LAN, to be
Oh,
clear.
yeah.
Run the video, boys.
It's gonna be Texas again.
It's
Worlds?
finally time to give you all an esports update. We're excited to announce our first attended live esports event of Smite 2 will be at the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas,
Oh,
January 17th
shit.
to 19th.
Oh shit! Oh
Qualifications for the event will begin during the fall of 2024. So
Oh,
start forming your
shit.
teams and preparing for the competition. Make sure you check out the Smite 2 Esports website and Discord to stay
We're
updated on the
going to
latest
Vegas.
information regarding the qualification path. Tickets for the Las Vegas event will go on sale later on this year. Head over to Smite Esports website and make sure you register your interest in attending the event to get further information the moment it becomes available. We'll see you all in Las Vegas.
That's Vegas. Yeah, I'm going to Vegas. The Founders Series. That's an interesting name. Oh yeah.
We're going to Vegas, baby.
More water?
We
Are we
going to-
not already in Vegas? I was
Oh,
ready to
yeah, I
go
know,
all in on
right?
this hand.
I mean, to be honest, this has been there all day today, and I don't know if people have even noticed the
Is that
poker
there?
chips on the table there.
Oh.
On top of that, I've been
No,
tweeting out.
no.
Oh, okay.
I've been tweeting out consistently little
link.
teasers of Vegas stuff randomly.
no.
Even my
Go get Molly.
truck simulator, if you check that out, if you notice, I was actually by in Vegas.
Really?
Uh-huh. I'm a genius, but nobody noticed. A couple of updates, though. Obviously, new website, smiteesports.com. We don't have a pro league currently, so I'd rather as default to smiteesports.com. Head over there, /Vegas for
going
more
to
information.
Vegas,
Obviously, it's early days
boys.
in a weird way, but we're nearly in June, guys.
I know, right?
Oh my god.
We've got to look towards the future. Obviously, the game's in active development. We want to showcase that we are active for Smite 2 Esports, and we will be
HyperX
doing the first
Arena.
live event
I'm
in
surprised they
January.
went with a Vegas.
Obviously, as part of the keynote, we did
thing.
mention we are still looking at a European
I will say
event,
the
which
last
will
time
be
I was in
next year
Vegas
later
at the
on,
end of January,
and
it was
continuing
cold
to
as
bring you
fuck.
guys majors throughout the year. Obviously, this event too, just to mention, a bit smaller in scale than a high-res expo level, just because it's a bit of a smaller venue, but also it's not ready for a world championship yet. The game's not even out yet. Right. But I expect we will
it's a
get to
small.
that
Oh
stage
yeah, wait.
probably later
I've been in
next
this.
year. So we're super
arena.
excited to announce to you all. We'll have more information.
There
to
might
come.
only
We are
be
going
like
to
a
Vegas.
couple hundred tickets.
Tickets will go on sale later on this
on.
year. And as the game and the developers continue to work on the game, we'll give you an idea of the timeline of the qualification path to get to Vegas for all the regions involved.
That's right. In the meantime, get your teams together, start plotting.
It's a standing 30,000 square
They've
feet.
got a prize pool to them, right?
There is.
$2,500.
Yeah, not a huge amount, but it's an alpha. So, you know, we're going to play. A lot of people are going, where's esports? Then there's another group of people going, this is too early for
How many
esports.
seats?
And I sit in the middle of those.
It's never too early.
3
for that.
VIP rooms,
It's
one
so
boss level
ridiculous. No,
suite.
so we're going to have fun this weekend. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll just keep bringing you more.
doesn't
and more
say how
esports
many
as time goes
people.
on.
Very exciting. Thank you. I mean, Smite 2 and High Risk
It might only be like
Studios,
1,000.
Our games are just entwined with esports at the core level. A lot of the changes to Smite 2 are designed to continue to push the competitive nature of the game. So can't wait to actually see it happening on the new game. This weekend already.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
so
already.
I can't wait.
Just
I'm gonna be
future
glued.
It's in the
They want
Luxor.
me to announce Vegas this weekend.
It used to be called something else. It wasn't the HyperX Arena before.
Crazy.
Yep.
Right?
like the whole qualifying trail for Vegas. is
'Cause
gonna be
I've seen it. It's a nice
I don't even know
hotel.
what it is, but I'm excited for it.
I'll give you some spoilers on the qualification stuff. We're definitely going to be messing around with a few formats we've not done before, just to see how they go through the first phase. And if there's a
Yeah,
window
I've
where the
stayed
game
in,
is ready a little bit
Aria,
earlier,
I've
we
stayed
will
in
throw in
Luxor,
additional
I've stayed in a
tournaments,
couple.
not just be waiting for January, but I can't announce that just yet. I'll tell these guys feel comfortable in the game, and we all feel good about the game.
Well,
Oh,
we'll
the
learn a lot
cards and
this
chips on the
weekend.
table
I'll
were
be
for
around.
Vegas
And
announcement.
If not, we'll just make changes and keep working, right? That's what we
Makes
do.
sense.
I will say it's really weird being on the other side of this coin from being hosting these shows.
Right, yeah.
To coming on with announcements and information. I'm like, God, I've got to
You're
do
just
that.
going to be the special
That's really
guest
weird.
with all the good news at the end of the show, right?
Yeah. If I'm not here, there's no good news. Is that what you're saying there?
No.
Oh. I can't give you esports news every patch, but maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. We'll
We
see.
might have to fix that.
We'll see.
We've got to have something.
Okay.
All right, we'll make it work.
I agree.
I love
All
Indy.
right. Well, you heard it here first, Smite
Cool
fans.
announcement.
We're
That's
going
pretty
to
hype.
Vegas.
Wait, they
for
didn't
the
say a
Smite
prize
2
pool,
Founder
right?
Series in January. Go to SmiteEsports.com/Vegas. Pre-register for those tickets. That way you stay up to date. But we've got Smite 2 Alpha Weekend 2 kicking off tomorrow. We've got a community tournament that's happening this weekend.
Yep.
Smite game is going to be on and popping for the next few days. So make sure that you stay tuned to everything. Stay tuned to Smite Pro on X. Stay tuned to Smite Game on all of our different
Yeah,
social
there's
media
no
channels
info about the
for all
actual
updates as
competition.
we head into Alpha Weekend 2. But until then, we'll have a Dev Insight show tomorrow at 1 p.m. Hang out with the design team a little bit more. Get those questions ready. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to explain.
We get some
anything you
juicy
wanna hear.
topics to dig into already, so
gonna be
excited to see
1,000
what people
capacity at
wanna ask us
HyperX.
and
Yeah, that's what I figured. That makes
Sweet.
sense.
Well, I think that's it for our showcase stream today. Before we dip out, anyone have any last words before we break and get back to work before Alpha Weekend 2 starts off?
Thanks for playing.
And he's like, get me off here. I'm not used to being
I'm
here.
not used to being on
anymore.
air these days. I'm like, God, I've got so much to do.
Thanks everyone for the feedback you gave us last Alpha Weekend. We're looking forward to this Alpha Weekend. We got so much information, we learned so much, and you guys were so great at giving us feedback. I think you guys actually broke the bug bot for a little bit. The one that actually posted to us. We had to fix that. So you even found the bug with the bug bot. So I can't wait for you guys to play this weekend. And again, please give us all your feedback.
Yes.
Let's get down for esports. Did you already do it? Let's get down for
Yeah, I was
esports?
really quiet about
It was
it.
quiet.
And just like, get me out of here. End the
I know.
stream. Cut the stream. We're gone.
Move on.
Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning into the showcase stream. We'll see you at 1 p.m. ET tomorrow for the Dev Insight stream, and then later on tomorrow for Smite 2 Alpha Weekend 2. Lots of 2s going on, but it's just twice as exciting.
Oh,
But until next
hey.
time, we'll see you on the battleground.
All right.
Rated T for teen.
Alrighty. That's cool that they announced the tournament. It's kind of stinks that it's smaller, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, I wonder how many people are going to want to go, because I think you're going to have to do those tickets pretty quick. I think a lot of people are going to want to go to that fucking, go to Vegas for a LAN. The Vegas thing, it's a LAN, yeah. It is a LAN event. What do you mean to play or watch? What are you saying? There's a LAN event, like you're gonna have to qualify. Oh, and then there will be people. Yeah, there's tickets to watch. It'll be like a smaller Worlds, but it's in Vegas, which I feel like is way more exciting, but also more expensive. So I guess I get both sides of it. Like maybe people won't want to go. The patch, on paper, it sounds cool. I'm still disappointed. Hybrid items are gonna be pretty meta, it seems. The big thing for me that we don't know is abilities felt really bad in Smite 2 still. Like any ability that had travel time Fenris Leap, Fenris 3, Anubis 2, Honor 2. Like they all felt slow motion, delayed. They didn't go fast enough, so they didn't say anything about that. And I'm wondering if they changed anything. Stream's gonna block the person behind him as a view. Shit. It'd be dope if you could get the VIP box. I would get that. Fuck. Oh shit. All right. So there's the patch notes. I will get those up as soon as I can, and I will be back on at 7:30 to play. I'm probably gonna try to look up like builds for Smite 2, so I kind of have a clue what I want to do going into it. And I will also test the duality item on Crit Gods some more since it's OP. Put it in on VIP box. I don't know if they're gonna be selling them. I just saw that I looked at the venue. They have 3 of them. They probably will keep them for like their fucking people. Will be my guess. That's how Hi-Rez always does it. Alpha Tourney? I don't know yet. I'll probably play with Mindy. I don't know how serious Cyclone was, but he mentioned he'd be down to play. So I'll see. I gotta see who's interested and who wants to play with who, or if anybody like wants to play. I don't know who cares to play Smite 2 right now. That's the other thing. Because a lot of teams that I've seen are just like Smite 2 friends that are gonna play like they would anyway, you know? Because my goal with this was Smite 2. I don't have like I don't have a preference to who I play with. Like, I don't care. I want to play with people that want that. Like, I don't want to play with people who are just playing because they played Smite 1. I want to play with people who want to learn, want to win, want to get better, can go through the process of, you know, the learn. Like, there's a learning curve. I did this with Smite 1. Like, I know what it looks like to go into a game, especially early, because like Pro League launched after 2 years of the game being out, where people think they know what the fuck they're doing and they don't. So I don't know. We'll see. Once they have ranked in the game, I think you'll see some people start to show out a little bit. You'll be looking at the top of ranked leaderboards, hopefully, to see who's good at the game. If they have a good matchmaking system in. They did add Bake Kujira and buff him. No, they literally should just not move Bake over. He's the most boring god in the game. He's the most skillless god in the game. Yeah, Bake's a terrible god. All right, I'm gonna go eat dinner and hang out with the family for a little while, and then I'll be back on at 7:30. It's a game, so I'll see y'all then. And I'll get this up right now. Later.